Get ready, folks. The series is coming to New Jersey. The series is coming to New Jersey. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And it is the night before playoff hockey returns to the Rock. That is right, my friends. Our beloved New Jersey Devils taking to the home ice tomorrow night, looking to get back into the series, currently down 2-0. Very unfortunate scenario, obviously. I would be much more excited had they won game 2, and this was a 1-1 series going into game 3, but it ain't over till the fat lady sings, as they say, and the fat lady has not sung just yet. Our New Jersey Devils looking to make it happen. Gonna have to rely on Markstrom. Once again, our best chances are always going to be in the hands of Marky. He had 2 very good games in game 1 and game 2. And it's unfortunate. The team didn't show up at all in game 1. And game 2, we saw a much better New Jersey Devils effort, but it still was not enough to get the win. And here we are in a terrible, terrible hole looking to make this thing a series. Now, I'm very curious to see, obviously, as everyone is, will we see the triumphant returns of Luke Hughes and or Brendan Dillon? They were not on the ice today. We'll see how that shakes out. I'm sure they might take warm-ups and could possibly be a game-time decision. They could possibly have no chance of playing, but still take warm-ups just to kind of mess with the Hurricanes. A little chess match between Keefe and Brindamour, maybe. Or I guess by then they probably have to submit the lineups. Either way, we're going to find out tomorrow. Jonas Siegenthaler was on the ice today. They still don't really have a timetable for his return. I think Keefe said something like maybe it looks more like Mayish, but, it's Mayish right now. So Siegenthaler is another guy to keep an eye on. I don't know. I'll take him in the lineup for sure. I don't know how much of a boost, that will be overall. And if that's going to be the difference between a win or a loss, it could. But here we are looking for contributions from anyone. Curious to see if the lines, well, actually, let's see. Did she put that up? The lines could always change before the game. They could always change in-game, obviously. Sheldon Keefe likes to switch it up a little bit, especially if we're unfortunately trailing and he's looking to generate offense any way he can. But we got our work cut out for us. I'm sure a lot of you will be there tomorrow night, as I will be. And everyone's got to be loud. Got to be loud. Got to make the Canes feel it. Got to let our boys feel it. Yeah, no, blah, blah, blah. Let me see what we got here from Amanda. I haven't checked. Yeah, they still have the forward lines the same. A lot of people wanted to see Seamus Casey deployed into the lineup for some of that offensive upside that he could bring. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, but again, you never know. Anything could happen tomorrow. I just want to see a win. I don't care how it happens. I don't care who scores. I don't care anything other than this team getting a win and making the series 2-1, which would set the table for a very interesting game 4, obviously. Should the Devils pull it off tomorrow, game 4, I would expect a ferocious crowd at the Rock looking to cheer the boys on to tie it all up and make the series a best of 3. But they got a tall order ahead. But we'll see. Hope for the best. Let's go Devils 95, 2003 says massive, massive game tomorrow. Yes, it obviously is. This is as close to a do or actual die as you could get. Obviously, falling into an 0-3 hole is all but insurmountable. I mean, yeah, miracles do happen, but, how good would you guys feel about having to beat the Canes 4 times in a row, including 2 times in Carolina, which would be games 5 and 7, and pulling off a feat that they haven't been able to do now in, I think it's 27 calendar months. The last time this team won 4 games in a row was in January of 23. So you're talking about, 2 years and 3 months ago. I wouldn't like our odds to break that streak in the playoffs against this Hurricanes team, but who knows? Anything could happen. I'm hoping we don't get to that 3-0 hole and hoping we see the boys pull it out tomorrow. Rhett Law, what's going on? Let's go. Moggy, let's go. Devils. Mark says today is going to be incredible. By today, do you mean tomorrow, Mark? Are you talking about the 2 hours and 22 minutes remaining in today? Ethan says Devils about to have all 3 Hughes. Well, I think it's eventually going to happen, but I think we're still a little over 2 years away from that. What's going on, Joseph? Don't mess with the Devils. The Devils! Obviously referring to that so iconic Seinfeld episode entitled The Face Painter. If you haven't seen that, I don't know what you're doing, but one of the biggest, or actually it is definitely the biggest New Jersey Devils reference in pop culture history. Obviously, Seinfeld's one of the biggest shows of all time, and David Puddy definitely has become a legendary character and in Devils folklore history for that character. What's going on, Maria? Sean, Ace, how you doing? What's going on? Sean, Ritter Engine, what's up? Max, Ace, how we doing tonight? I'm a little apprehensive, Max, a little bit anxious, counting down the hours until I descend upon the rock. Very curious to see what the Fan Fest entails. I certainly hope it's a much better version of Fan Fest than we saw on Fan Appreciation Day for the finale, the underwhelming finale, regular season finale, I should say, against the Detroit Red Wings just about a week ago. Lobsty, 'twas the night before Game 3. Indeed. What's going on, Alex? Tasha, let's go Devils. Super hyped for my first playoff game. Gonna make a bunch of Canes Suck bracelets for the occasion. Maybe I'll see if anyone else wants some and give them out. Very nice. Very nice. Lawrence, I thought Earl Skakel was going to get me Sklar Brothers money by now. I don't know what that means, but Earl Skakel. Is that Dancing Earl? No, Earl Skakel is actually, I knew that name was familiar. He's a comedian who's a big hockey fan. Jared, happy to see you still being optimistic. Hope the boys can pull off the comeback. By the way, did you hear about Sieg? Yeah, I talked about that a couple seconds ago. Malik Prods, spam the celebration icon if you want the Devils to come back down 2-0. Certainly want him to come back. Max's video of Siegs on ice looked like he was wheeling out there. Yeah, but wheeling out there in a practice versus taking contact in a playoff game, obviously very different. I'm sure, he's going to probably try to rush it as much as he can. And I'm curious to see if we do see him in the series. Obviously, if the Devils could win some games and extend the series, the longer it goes on, I think the more likely we see him return in the series. M. Sharp, let's win one. Sean, Ace, forgot to tell you, but I met Grant Marshall. And then he puts in parentheses, former Devils player, won the 2003 Cup. Come on, Sean. You don't think I know who... you don't think I know who Grant Marshall is? I mean, give me some credit. Put some respect on my name. Love Grant Marshall. Love me some Grant. Had some big plays in that 2003 Cup run as well. Big assist in Game 7 to Jeff Friesen in the closing minutes to get that win on the road. What a game. Stanley, I'd imagine Luke and Dylan are done for with Siegenthaler getting on the ice earlier than expected. I don't necessarily think, I don't necessarily believe that they are related. I don't think they're going to be like, Siegs, hurry up, these guys are done. I'm pretty sure he'd be rushing back to the ice regardless of their status. But we're going to find out. Will we see Siegenthaler? Probably not tomorrow, maybe Game 4. Ritter Engine, I'd love to see Mack in the lineup and truck dudes that can throw the Canes game off. Yeah, they're not going to do it, though. Come on. Keefe kind of kept them buried for most of the second half-ish of the season. And, I'm a big McDermott fan, but I just can't see it in the playoffs. I think the stakes are a little too high. Ace, Rob, Ace, will you be in the building for Game 3? Of course. Of course I will be in the building, yelling till my vocal cords bleed, waving my rally towel until my arm burns, and I cannot wave anymore. Sean, I asked Grant Marshall about the curl. Hold on, sorry, Stanley. Marshall in overtime, referring to that series-ending goal against the Tampa Bay Lightning. What a beautiful goal. I was in the building at Continental Airlines Arena for that. One of the magical moments of that 2003 run that I will never forget, and I will hold oh so dear to my heart for as long as I have breath on this earth. Sean, I asked Grant Marshall about the current Devs team. He said they are different from 2003. They don't have an aggressive player and look like a team made for the regular season. Wow, that's some blunt truths that I could totally agree to. That 2003 team was just oozing with character. Obviously, top-end skill as well. Marty, Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermayer, Patrick Elias. Great players in, Jamie Langenbrunner, Gomer. I mean, it was just a great team. Hall of Famer Joe Neuendijk until the finals. He got injured in the Ottawa Game 6. But totally different team. And unfortunately, if you compare the two rosters, there is no comparison, in my opinion. I mean, it is what it is. That team had character and grit throughout. Tasha, I feel like Luke is definitely injured. Dylan probably just has a minor concussion or something. Did they say something that it was something with his head? I thought it was like a lower body kind of thing. Metalander, how is Burns not suspended? I mean, did you think he was going to get suspended after they didn't call a penalty on the play? A lot of people were talking about it, but I knew there was no chance. If the ref is right there, sees the headbutt, doesn't call a penalty, they're not going to go in after the fact and be like, oh, yeah, we're going to suspend this guy. There's no way. I'm not nearly as mad about it as other people are, but just keep that same energy for when the Devils take some liberties. That's all I ask. Cool, you're going to let it slide? Cool. We'll let it go if Timo sucker punches someone in the face in a scrum after they're kind of breaking up. If Timo just comes over the top and kind of clocks someone in the face, let that slide. Just keep that same consistency. Oh, my God. This guy Darius is a total idiot. Sabres fan loving the steamrolling. Your team is awful. Devils fan ran that mouth all season. Now karma here. What mouth did I run? I'll allow Darius to make a couple more stupid comments. We'll all publicly shame him, and then I will boot him forever. And we will be rid of the cancer that is Darius. Ritter Engine says Burns needs to shave his facial, I guess, hair. Lobsty, Ace, would Luke being injured be a good thing or bad thing? He's made many horrible and careless plays. Come on, Lobsty. It's a horrible thing. Luke Hughes, while he does make some mistakes, obviously, he's a kid, guys. He's 21 years old. He's blossoming before your very eyes, taking monster strides this season. I think playing under Keefe has helped him. I think playing with Brett Pesce has helped him, but he is going to be, a lot of people are super high. I mean, listen, I think he's going to be very good, and he's just, finding his groove right now. I do think he's going to be a top 10 defenseman, I think, in the next couple of years. Defensemen take a little bit longer to develop, and as he continues to play, get more experience, get more games under his belt, he's just going to get better and better. He's a special player, and obviously having a guy like him injured is always going to be a bad thing, especially for a team that can't score goals and is offensively inept on most nights. Luke Hughes, with that toolkit, that speed, the hands, the vision, the shot, he's very slippery out there, and we are definitely a much better team with him in the lineup for sure. Sean asked Darius, when was the last time Buffalo qualified for the playoffs? Ritter Engine, I'm being my boy Ric Flair tomorrow. Let's go. Sean says, did Buffalo win a cup, Darius? People going in on Darius. Stanley, speaking of Grant Marshall, Dowling looks a lot like him. I guess they could have some slight resemblance. Metalander, Ace, are you watching how physical the games are tonight? We aren't built correctly. I actually haven't seen anything from tonight's games yet, but what I will tell you is I don't need to see the games to know. I told everyone this for years. For years, I've been saying we are not a warfare playoff hockey team. I mean, I've said it for years, and that's why when Fitz came out with the battle cry last summer of heavier, edgier, more violent, that is why I was super ecstatic, because I thought that was a major problem with the team forever before that. So when he said that and then went out there and made the moves to get a Johnny Kovacevic, get a Brendan Dillon, get a Stefan Nason, get a Paul Cotter, I liked it. The reality is, even with those additions from last offseason, it's still not enough. We need a couple more dogs. Hopefully we could get some this summer. Stanley says, Darius, you wish you could be steamrolled. Make the playoffs one of these decades. Khalil, Ace, you're the reason why I still have faith in this team. Well, I guess I appreciate that. But all we have is faith until it's over, and it ain't over yet. The Canes won too. We were in the game in game 2, obviously, much more competitive game. I don't take many, silver linings and moral victories. I'm not that kind of guy, as many of you know, but it obviously is more encouraging, going into game 3, that we were right there and could have taken game 2. It's obviously a much better feeling than if we got steamrolled again like we did in game 1. But either way, we're now in an 0-2 hole, and, silver linings and, moral victories, we're past that now. It is time to go to war and win a friggin' game. Tasha, Luke is a huge part of our special team units. Of course, it's a bad thing if he's injured. Yeah, I'm surprised someone had to ask that. But Sean, this would be like when they came back from 1-3 in the series versus the Flyers. Obviously, Sean is referring to the 2000 Eastern Conference Finals. One of the, I would say, quintessential kind of just statement series victories by the Dynasty Devils. Down 3-1 in the series, came back to win 3 in a row. Including 2 in Philadelphia, game 5 and 7. Scott Stevens lays out Lindros. Patty scores the goal late. I mean, storybook, fairy tale stuff. What a time to be alive as a New Jersey Devils fan, huh? HC Neon, was it just my stream, or did they literally cut off the last minute of the Cats versus Bolts game mid-play with the net pulled to put another game on? I wasn't watching. I was kind of running around doing some errands and preparing here. Wow. I just saw the Lightning, final. Wow, and I picked them to win the cup, and I was a Panthers guy too. See, if I shouldn't have let the injury stuff with Tkachuk sway me. I was going to pick them to go to the Cup Finals again. And when I was doing the pick, I was like, I'm just not sure. Kachuk's been out for so long. But there you have it. That's a Warfare Hockey Club. I was going to pick whoever won that series to go to the finals from the East, and it's looking like it might be the Panthers. Joseph, they need to pay to bring back Putty the Face Painter in the crowd for the series. That would be interesting if they did that. He has appeared in the past, and I think he may have appeared during the 22-23 playoffs, but I'm not sure. Definitely, dude, years are flying by. I'm old, guys. I can't keep track of this shit, but he was in the building not that long ago. Oleg says Devils need to bring the intensity tomorrow. They absolutely do. Devil Heaven 77, are we something tomorrow? Are we sold out tomorrow? I don't think so. Lobsty. Guys, the only reason why Burns isn't suspended is because he paid the refs with the senior citizen discount. Sean, Ace, I saw your video. I bought tickets for Game 4. I just need to know, Ace, where I could get that towel. So, more than likely, what they've been doing in years past, they put it on the seats. So, there's a towel on every seat. I imagine that's what they'll do tomorrow. Back in the day, they used to hand them out going in. But with having to open the boxes and hand them to people, it is an unnecessary delay on top of what I would consider an already super painful process to enter our arena. I mean, I hate to complain about stuff, but, you know, I don't try to complain, but there's just so many things that get served up on a platter to complain about. Getting into our arena is an absolute nightmare. You put the keys in the tray, and do you have a belt on? And this guy's got a pacemaker. Who forgot? Oh, I have my phone. I didn't realize my phone would set off a metal detector. Come back through the thing, put all your shit. Take off your coat, put all the shit on the table, slide it down. These people are moving in slow motion. I mean, it's absolutely painful getting into the arena. And so adding a promotional item handoff at the entrance would create a unnecessary layer of just nonsense. So I do imagine they will be on the seats like they were in the past, Sean. So when you get to your seat, you will find that beautiful towel kind of draped over your chair for you to wave like a wild man. Jay Snow, good news. Jack Hughes will be at the game in NJ. Maybe he can coach the boys up, show them how to set up a power play. Man, the power play's got to start clicking. Special teams has been getting their faces bashed in. A shorthanded goal for the game winner is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Can't happen. Devil Heaven, Ace, are we sold out tomorrow night? I don't believe so, but let me just check. I don't know if it will be. I mean, listen, guys, if I'm being honest, right? Like, playoff tickets are more expensive than regular season tickets, and this team hasn't exactly, excited the kind of casual fan, or I don't know what you want to call it. So I will tell you this, they're going to announce it as a sellout no matter what, because that's just what teams do and they could get away with it. But there is a ton of seats available on Ticketmaster right now, as well as on secondary marketplaces. And so I think in the end, when the dust settles, it will be close to a full building, but I do think there will be some little pockets of empty seats. But just do your job and be loud. Jay Snow, these Devils tickets are super cheap. I was looking today. I mean, and that's what happens when you struggle for all of calendar year 2025. You limp into the playoffs going 1-4 in your last 5, being only an overtime goal against the Bruins away from limping in on a 5-game losing streak, and then proceed to lose both games on the road in the playoffs. That's not going to really nudge people or really excite people to go out there and spend their hard-earned money in this economy to go see that type of team. And that's just the harsh reality and the economics of sport. I mean, people in this area, the New York, New Jersey, the tri-state area, the cost of living is very high. Everything costs so much money, as you all know. Everything from eggs to gas to your rent, your mortgage, whatever it is, everything costs a freaking fortune now. And going to sporting events isn't cheap. And so a lot of people that aren't diehard lunatic mental patients like myself and many of you watching right now, many of the people that aren't that hardcore that might be interested are like, yeah, you know what? I watched, games 1 and 2 on TV. I'm not exactly moved to go spend X amount of dollars to go see this game, and I can't blame them. I really can't. If I was a casual fan, which obviously we're well past that, maybe I would probably not go. I mean, you could do lots of things with, just call it a night out at the game for 2 people. If you're on the low end, all in $300, you could do a lot with $300, right? I mean, you go to a nice dinner, you could, go to several movies, there's a lot you could do. So people have options for their discretionary kind of income. And when you have a performance like this over an extended period of time, 2025, and the first 2 games in Carolina, you're going to suffer at the gates for the box office. And, I do think even getting the split would have probably had a lot more people kind of fired up and excited to go to the game. And I'm hoping the vibe is good in the arena. But being down 0-2 is very, very different from it being 1-1. M. Sharp, so wish I could go to the game. Whoever is fortunate to go, let it rip, be loud the whole time. Absolutely. Sean, 3:30 is kind of an awkward time for a game, but we will be loud. Obviously referring to the Sunday's game 4. Hold on one second. Jay Snow, they asked if Dylan was in concussion protocol, and Keefe said he wouldn't give an answer, so you assume he's in protocol. But again, this is all gamesmanship. I don't know what to make out of. It's all gamesmanship. So it could be his leg, and Keefe is kind of playing into the concussion narrative to not give an advantage to the Canes. This is all. Everything is lies and deception, especially come playoff time. A guy could have a broken leg or a broken forearm, and if they're like, oh, is his whatever something completely unrelated okay, and they're going to be like, we don't know. They don't want anyone to know what the real injury is, and for good reason. If they disclosed that Dylan had, let's just say, a knee or his leg or whatever it is, teams are going to key in on that. They're going to try to slam him and give him the business and try to really get you out of the game. Devil Heaven, is Dylan upper body lower fucking body? At this point now they're saying it's again. I don't put too much stock into anything that is said, so we may never know. I don't really care. I just want him out there on the ice because he's an absolute warrior. M. Sharp, love Timo energy. A lot of people down on Timo after that last game. Your boy Ace is not one of them. I do love Timo and his game. Our most bull-like forward, and you need guys like him to win series. Hopefully he could have a big kind of redemption game in game 3. Stanley, glass half full. Devils played a good game on Tuesday, and at least we're not Tampa. Down 0-2 to Florida. They're knee-deep in it right now. That's pretty brutal. Absolutely brutal. Jay Snow, we need to get the power play going if we want to have a chance tomorrow. Absolutely. Got to strike on some power plays. Tasha, they need to bring more of that heavier, edgier, more violent to the game tomorrow like they did in the first period of the last game. They've been racking up the hits the last couple games, but now they got to make them count for something. Just hitting to hit is nice, but you got to, cause a big turnover. A big momentum swing could come off of a big hit for sure. Oh, Amagi with the super. Thank you, sir. The arena security system sucks. No bag lane, too. Oh, Amagi is just mad because they have to rifle through he has a very special burger bag. It's a very special bag. He must get detained with all the purses they're going through. He's got to put the burger bag on there behind all the ladies with the purses while they poke around with that stick. Oh God, I'm getting PTSD thinking about it. It's such a brutal experience. Dwayne says, I had to unsub from this effing. All right, Dwayne, well then why are you here? I don't know what I ever did to you, Dwayne, but see you later. M. Sharp, Darius, where is your team now? Let me get back up. Sorry, I'm skipping all over. Darius types a couple things and then leaves, I think. Devil Heaven Ace, have you heard of Two Brothers Pizza? I have not, but I've heard of tons of, there's 3 Brothers Pizza, 4 Brothers Pizza, 5 Brothers, 6 Brothers. So tell me about Two Brothers Pizza. Tasha, the Sabres like the worst team in the NHL, at least top 3 worst teams in the league. You have to be blind to think they are great. People are just piling on. Maria says, what are you wearing tomorrow night, Ace? Which jersey? So I wore... Now I got to think about it. I don't remember which jersey I wore last time. I don't even know if I could count that. I think for luck, even if this jersey was what I wore last time, which it may have been, I can't remember. I may have worn this to the last game of the season against Detroit and they lost, but that was an AHL lineup, and so I do think I don't want to overanalyze it, but I do think I'm going to have to wear the Marty. And hopefully the great Martin Brodeur could bring some luck to the team. Jay Snow, we need forwards with size. That'd be nice. I like some big, rugged forwards. Always have wanted another one. It seems like it's been a while since we've had one that could score. I always like big, rugged guys that could score. Would love to see some added in the summer. Tasha said, Sabres are going to win the Cup in 2095. Stanley says, that's because Buffalo is where dreams go to die. Devil Heaven, Fitz has to take a page out of the Cats book. This team is the future. I mean, the future. They've been in the Cup Finals the last 2 years, and they won last year. They made a ballsy move. They acquired Matthew Tkachuk, and he literally single-handedly changed the franchise. Well, Sean, Buffalo does have some good players. But overall, they're a terrible team. There's several guys on Buffalo we would love to have. Tasha hopping off. Huge game tomorrow. Let's go Devils. Let's go Devils. Mia, we need a heavyweight skilled guy. Completely agree. And there, yeah, a guy like Tage Thompson. Would love a guy like Tage Thompson in our lineup. Would love to see it. Sean says, Lopsy, they still lose to Taylor Swift Football Club. I don't know what that is. Tasha, yeah, I can. Tage Thompson, Rasmus Dahlin, but that team is always just bad. I would love Alex Tuck from there as well. Alex Tuck would be nice. Owen Powers, pretty damn good. Stanley says, Tage Thompson in a Devils uniform. One could dream. I would love him. I would love him. Jason says, everyone on the Tampa train too, but Barkov left the game with injury. Oof. Putty fell on the bench. I don't remember that. Sean, one of my teachers wore a Scott Niedermayer jersey. Well, that's definitely an absolute classic. A Scott Niedermayer jersey. That's a real nice one to have. Sean, for me, it doesn't usually take too long. I put my phone in the tray and walk through. Yeah, but that's after how many people do you watch in front of you go through a bunch of nonsense as if it's the first time they've ever done it. I personally don't have any trouble either. I take all the shit out of my pockets. I have it all ready. I have it all ready to go when I get up there. I throw it in the stupid thing, push it through, and I'm through. The problem is the 700 morons in front of me that are fumbling with keys, phones, all kinds of shit. Devil Heaven says, Ace, what are tickets for tomorrow price-wise? Well, let's take a look on this app. It's easier to do it on my phone. They were hovering around $100 at the cheapest the other day. So right now, if you want a single, I'll give you both because the markets are different, whether you're talking single or one. The cheapest single ticket, all in for tomorrow right now is at $106. The cheapest for a pair would be $110 each. Not too bad. Tons of tickets available, kind of under 140. 140 per, that is. HD Neon says on Ticketmaster, cheapest is $75 before fees. Well, I guess I have it open, so I'll just double check that too. I was looking at a secondary website because it's usually cheaper than everywhere else. Hold on. Hold up. Let me just put this in again. I have like 7,000 tabs open on my computer, so I just lose shit. I had the game. All right, so let's see on Ticketmaster what it is. So 79 are the verified resales in the 200s. That's 158 for a pair. Oh, those sold. Gone. Let me reload. So 85 a piece before fees is 170 for the pair. Those are gone too. I mean, their site is terrible. Tons of face value 85s, but then they tack on. Dude, well, I hate Ticketmaster with a passion. I really do. Now it's like I can't do it on this device because they think I'm a robot or something. It's like, come on, man. All right, here we go. Yeah, so those 85s before the fees come to 210. Yeah, so like the same thing, like 105 a ticket you could get right now on Ticketmaster. Sean, if only we could have one player from the 2003 team, we would easily be better with any player from the Cup winning team. I agree. But, what Daniel Sprague and Glass didn't do it for you on the deadline? Devil having ace, you're not shitting. I live upstate. Love it a lot. Love it a lot more affordable. Pretty much anywhere is more. I think New Jersey actually has the highest property taxes and cost of living in the country. Goodbye, Ottawa. Yeah, I picked them to do the upset. Looks like it's not going to happen. Leafs win 3-0. Yeah, it's terrible. Completely terrible. Jason says, I don't think Toronto beats Florida, though. I would love to see Florida bounce them for sure. Meadowlander, their crowd elevates that team. They don't know a blue line from a clothesline. We must raise hell tomorrow. I like that. Jay Snow, how about putting Hallen in the lineup? We have nothing to lose. The guy plays heavy and had almost 30 goals this year. I can't see it. I can't see it happening. Anything could happen, but I think at this juncture, if they believed in him, we would have seen him get more of an opportunity during the regular season. He played 2 games. I wanted to see him get a more extended look. It never happened, and so I can't see them just thrusting him into this game 3 right now with so much on the line. Sean Ace, what do you recommend I should get for lunch, I guess, at Prudential? No matter what, I got to spend my life savings on food. Or you could eat before you get there. There's options outside. Devil having ace, watched a great interview with John Gotti Jr. Well, when is it from? Sean, I went to a Devils game with 2 other friends, and we got food, and the total was almost $80. Well, you guys don't eat a lot then, because if I went with 2 of my buddies, it'd probably be way more than that. I mean, it's a fortune. It is what it is. Sean Ace, do you ever go to Prudential Center for things aside from Devils games? I do. There hasn't been a ton of things there recently that I've wanted to go to, but in the past, I have seen UFC there several times. I've been to a few concerts there. What else? I've been to a couple comedy shows there. Yeah, so I do go there for other things aside from the Devils if there's something in town that I want to see. I just feel like there hasn't been anything non-Devils that I've wanted to go to in quite some time. Devil Heaven says, Ace, rip that reverse retro or 82, 83 retro. I like sticking to the staples. Either the classic white or the classic red is usually what I'm wearing. Jason says, imagine the Devils could snag Jamie Benn. He's a free agent. Love Jamie Benn. Big goal by him last night. I do think that he will likely return to the Stars. I just, they're a very good team. I think they're built to be good for a nice little stretch here, and I think he could just retire there, and try to win a cup with his team. How old is he now? 35. Yeah. 35 years old. Yeah, he's going to end up retiring there. He's a Stars legend. Oh, Darius thinks he's a gangster. My buddy Goody, I wouldn't mind Marcus Foligno for throwing names into a hat. Yeah, he's another tough customer. Anybody with that kind of snarl, I would gladly take, but they're going to have to get some bottom 6 guys that could score. Devil Heaven 77 Ace, you got to get are you asking me if I have a Mogilny jersey? I have a Mogilny game worn jersey. I don't have a Mogilny jersey that I wear. Sean, bro, Ace, I know you definitely go to games earlier than me, but there usually is only like max 3 people ahead of me. Dude, even early the line gets long, and I'm sure for the playoffs it will be too. People are going to be enjoying the Fan Fest, whatever that consists of, for tomorrow outside. There'll definitely be a nice little Fan Fest. Like I said, hopefully it's better than the one they had for the regular season finale, because that was kind of underwhelming. M. Sharp, I'm all for bringing some kids up for playoffs action. Well, I think they're just going to be part of the practices and stuff and just kind of be around the team and get the atmosphere. I don't expect any of them to actually play. Let's trade someone to get Henrique from Edmonton. I can't see it happening. I think he's a nice piece of their team, and he's a Canadian guy. I think he's going to retire there. Jason, no, I can't stand Toronto. I think most people can't stand Toronto. They're probably one of the most hated teams around the league, I'd imagine. Joseph Hellebuck is making some Marty-type saves tonight. Connor Hellebuck. He was a guy that I wanted when those rumors came up. But St. Louis up. Minnesota's up. Yeah, wow. Let me just pull something up here. It is crazy that in the East, the home team won every single game in the first two games. Carolina was up 2-0. Caps were up 2-0. Panthers were up 2-0. And then, the Panthers were away. Okay, yeah. And then Toronto won their two. So, yeah, it was 2-0 in every series, and now it's 3-0 in. Are we going to have all shit series in the East? That'd be terrible. LJ says, listen, it's Toronto. Let's wait till they win that fourth game. I'm sure they will. But if anyone can blow a 3-0 lead, it'd be the Leafs. That would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. If they could pull off a 4-win-in-a-row streak, the Sens to knock the Leafs out, that'd be crazy. Sean, bring back Henrique from Edmonton will give me nostalgia from 2012, but is he good still? Yeah, he's definitely good. He's definitely, just think of this. Do not believe that he's better than some of the guys on our roster currently. Amagi tells Sean to get Burrito. It's the best thing at Prudential. Sean, if anything, the Chipotle near Prudential is more crowded than the entrance for Devils games. Oh no, I want nothing to do with crowds. I typically try to go to where there's no crowds if I can. Amagi, they're also introducing a goalie helmet filled with chicken tenders tomorrow, but the concession tenders are 50-50 on quality. Amagi, what do you know about concession tenders? You're more of a lounge kind of tenders guy. Nicohischier, we have to win 2 in a row 2 times. That would work. You want to break it up like that. M. Sharp, Canucks talking about stealing Hughes brothers as if I was gifted a beautiful Canucks jersey by friends from Canada 15 years ago, and I've yet to wear it as the team is under-deserving. Devil Heaven 77, Trans-Siberian Orchestra twice at Prue Center. Also, Devils Hockey, awesome building. My mother wanted to go to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra thing a while back. It never happened. Maybe I'll try to take her this year if it comes back around. Jay Snow, my problem is I don't trust Fitz to fix this roster. They need more than bottom sixers. They do, but I just don't think he's going to be able to fix everything this summer. We need a real top 6 guy, but I don't, what is the path to getting that? They exist. They certainly exist, but what is the likelihood? I'm also very curious to see what that Luke number comes in at. Devil Heaven says, Devils fans, go get your tickets. My buddy Goody, you're not going to like it, but I heard a podcast say that NJD might want to trade for Quinn, saying that it would take Mercer, Casey, and Nemitz. I'm with you and would rather wait to 2 years. Yeah, I mean, listen, on this topic, I'm not, because there is a value to getting him earlier. I'm not going to deny that and say, no, obviously, if you're going to get him, there is a value to getting him sooner than later. But I would not want to part with Casey and Nemitz. Now, if they were willing to do, a deal with maybe only one of them, they would also have to take Dougie. It would be contingent on, they would have to take on some players that are kind of like, quote unquote, issues for the team. I'm not just giving them all of our young players and being like, oh, let's get Quinn early. Like, you could get him for nothing in 2 years. And so there has to be a limit to the price you're going to pay. And I have to believe other teams would offer a more enticing package to do it. But then I saw another report that said they're not going to trade him till at the earliest, I think it said the deadline next year. So if you're waiting that, then the value is going to come down a little bit. The longer they wait, the less the return is going to be. I do think they should probably cash him out now and get the most they can for him and let a team give him a nice package to have his services for 2 years. But we're going to see how it plays out. Paulie Walnut, you should wear your black starter jersey. I know you said that is a no hoodie type of jersey because of the size. Weather-wise, it should work out well. Well, if it ends up being super hot, I might be wearing no jersey, or at least not till I go inside. Let's see. What is on the horizon? Newark. Oh, wow. Where's the hour-by-hour breakdown? It's getting real close to summer, kids. They have Newark tomorrow listed at 56 low to 76 Oh, it's a scorcher. It's 100% shorts. We're looking. Come on with the stupid app. 4 p.m. 76, 5 p.m. 75, 6 p.m. 73. Oh, yeah. Yep, that is a 100% shorts day, and I wouldn't even be able to wear a jersey outside because I'll be dying of heat exhaustion. Sean, this is probably never going to happen, but imagine an OT team with Quinn, Luke, and Jack Hughes. What a fantasy. So that'd be a pretty deadly trio. Chico, it'd be the most hockey thing of all time for the Leafs to win it all, playing Craig Berube's terrible brand of hockey. He was number one on my list, I think, of guys that weren't completely ridiculous notions. Like, Larry Robinson was high on my list, but I knew that I said that was a fantasy. Lobster, I think we should definitely bring Jeremy Brodeur next season and see what he's got. It's not going to happen. It's going to be Markey and probably either Dawes or Poulter, possibly Jacob Malik. We'll see. It could be a battle in camp. Lobstein put him in a Devils Rangers game just to make Rags fans mad. Spirit in the Sky says, Ace, you aren't doing too well on your bracket. If Tampa loses, I'm cooked. I really believed in them more than I should have. I just put too much stock into the Tkachuk injury and the time off. I should have just went with my gut. And then I would have probably had Panthers winning the cup. But I picked Ottawa. They're getting killed. I picked Tampa. I picked Capital. Yeah, I could be in pretty bad shape. Kings I had Golden Knights, Avs, Jets. Yeah, I'm not doing too good. I did very good last year. I made some ballsy picks this year, and it looks like a lot of them are going to be probably busts. Jeter Toker goalie helmet chicken tender bowls is better than spending LTIR money. Oh, man. Sean says, all right, I'll get the chicken tenders and the goalie helmet. Anyone know the price? It's probably going to be like $30 if I had to guess. Chico, if the Canucks want to trade Quinn early, in my opinion, that means they're re-entering rebuild mode. So they're going to want futures overtaking Dougie's contract back. No, I understand. But for me, like, unless you're solving another problem with bringing him in early, I would not want to do it. I understand that they probably wouldn't. And that's why I don't think it would make sense to do it. I would just wait. And again, I'm not saying that this is something I'm dying to have happen. Tons of people are, oh my God, all three Hughes brothers. Like, I'm not one of those people. But it does seem like if you read between the lines that there's a very good chance he signs here as a free agent. Prezify, thank you for the super. Yo, Ace, did you start Reacher show yet? No, I'm busy, man. I got so many shows in the queue that I've been talking about watching for years. Hopefully I can watch it soon, but with the playoffs now and everything else going on in my life, it's kind of, I'm not watching too much TV if I'm being honest, but I would like to watch it eventually. I'll eventually get to it. Let's see, chicken and goalie chicken tenders. Frank, so if you have all three Hughes brothers, what do you pay them and what do you have left to build a team around them? Well, we're going to see. The first step is going to be, what Luke signs for. Hopefully he signs something team friendly to give the team some cap flexibility and not milk them for every cent. And then I'd have to believe if Quinn wants to be here, he's going to have to sign something team friendly as well, which in 2 years, quite frankly, 2 years from now, like I think a team friendly deal for him would be like 10 or 11 million bucks a year. His value on the open market would probably be like 13, 14 million a year. It's going to be a lot of money tied up in the three of them. But if they're able to move off, by then some of these bad contracts will be gone. And hopefully they have some flexibility to have a real kind of contending team with all three of them. Maria says, Jeremy's awesome. Would love to have him here. There's just too many other goalies ahead of him. And he's like 27, I think now. So it's a tough road. I'd love to see it. It'd be a great story. Jason, no, the path is to buy out Plot. And realistically, now's the summer to move Dougie. We can't have Nemitz and Casey both sitting again next year. Even if you move Dougie, you still have Siegs, Dilly, Kovacevic, Luke, I guess they're. I mean, it would be pretty wild. Like, if are they both gonna be up for the whole year? I think that could be another kind of step backwards for the defense. If we in fact see a, let me just see something. Yeah, if you move Dougie, then you still got Dilly, Luke, Kovacevic. Oh yeah, Pesci, Siegs. Yeah, there's no. I forgot Pesci. Yeah, I can't see any world in which both of them are on the team next year. I could see one of them, but there's no way. Even if you move Dougie, there's still not a spot for two, so it's tough. Falker Sports Cards. We're going to give this team the spark they need tomorrow and Sunday at the Rock, baby. Let's go Devils. Hopefully. Carson says, oh man, you don't know how pissed I'll be if the Canes lose both of these. Get a split and win at home. Simple. Well, hopefully they do lose both. Chico, I mean, Nemitz and Casey shouldn't have sat at all. Both should have gotten full years in the AHL. This is the same yo-yoing that cut Larson's potential in half, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't necessarily love it, but there's a lot of pressures from all different places now. You probably have agents and the players talking to the media. It's a slippery slope, all of these things, with guys I think they should be in the league now. Sean, if the Devils do a trade for Quinn, who do you think Vancouver will get for Quinn? I don't think the Devils trade for him. I think the smart move is, if you're hell bent on getting him, you wait till we could sign him as a free agent, and it cost us no players. But if there ever was a deal to happen, I'd imagine it would involve a pick of some kind with maybe a guy like Mercer and one of Nemitz or Casey and maybe another prospect. I don't want it to happen. I think if they want him, just wait. Why waste assets to bring him early? Unless it's super cheap. I can't see it happening now. Matthew says, the Canes unfortunately own us. Yeah, it's terrible, and that's why I hate them. It all started in 2002. We're staring down the barrel at 5 consecutive series losses to them. Jay Snow says Fitz has no game plan. I don't think so, but or maybe there is one in the recesses of his brain. The future, it's the future is bright. 2037 Cup champs, baby. Let's go. Hold on. The future's solar eclipse bright. Let me put my glasses on. Sorry, guys. The future is so bright, I got to put these glasses on. Sean says, Ace, come on. We are Devils fans. We got to wear the jersey even in the heat. I can't do it outside. I'll just bring it in and put it on inside. It's not going to be 1,000,000 degrees inside. I'm a sweater, guys. I sweat a lot. With a hockey jersey on outside in nearly 80-degree temperatures, won't be a good look for me. I'll be dripping. Jay Snow, his drafting has been atrocious and no development of prospects. M. Sharp with Larry Robinson. I talked about him before. How far behind am I? Not too far. Absolute legend. Love Larry. Got to talk to him at an event in January, I believe it was, and Larry's the man. What a time to be alive if you saw Larry Robinson behind the bench for our beloved New Jersey Devils. What's going on, Shoots? What's up, fellas? Let's get this big W tomorrow night. That's the plan. That is the plan. Devil have an ace. You eat out dinosaur barbecue yet? Grew up with dinosaur in Syracuse. That's been gone for a while. Dinosaur barbecue, rest in peace, has been gone for a while. AVA 78, any chance we re-sign Allen maybe one more year? I think Fitz would want to, but I just can't see how. It would be recklessly irresponsible because he's going to get some decent money. Unless he took a massive pay cut and just was dying to be a Devil and was taking like so far below market, because in the end, there'll be a couple teams interested in his services and he's going to get paid. The Devils can't afford to pay him $3 million. Sean, even if we make a serious comeback, we probably will have to play the Caps. Well, that's, what the bracket would dictate, assuming the Capitals don't choke. But I think we may have a better time against, an easier time competing against the Caps than the Canes. Jay Snow, they have to make a decision what they're doing with Nemitz this year. I could see him being traded, or I could see him not be. At this point, it's hard for me to predict a lot of stuff because there's so many moving parts tied to everything, and you have no idea what's going on in the minds of the brain trust of the New Jersey Devils. Chico, Craig Berube is almost identical to Travis Green in terms of quality, in my opinion. They're just not all that good. Berube won a Cinderella Cup off of Binner, but in terms of X's and O's, he's just brutal. Well, I mean, you could say whatever you want about him winning the Cup in St. Louis, and you're going to find a way to discredit him if he somehow wins this year. I mean, the guy would then be a two-time proven winner. Carson says, I have Colorado over Tampa Bay in the Stanley Cup Finals, but Tampa Bay Lightning is sucking ass. Yeah, absolutely. Amagi said it's 23-ish, but I don't think fries are included. The tenders and the helmet? James, going to print out a Canes logo on a sheet of paper, bring it to the shooting range tomorrow after work, debating which jersey to wear to the range. Red and black Brodeur, red and white and green Stevens. People probably think you're nuts. Chico, I do agree that to get Quinn, then Dougie has to go out the door, but I think that's a trade that happens to a different team. It's possible, or maybe a 3-team trade. I think it'd be silly to trade from early, but you know, nothing surprises me anymore. The wildly unpredictable New Jersey Devils. Devil have an ace. Okay to call you Rubberneck. Devs fans call ace. Sean, 30. All right, so I should probably bring like 50, 60 bucks in case I buy a drink or merchandise. Stuff is expensive. It is expensive. Chico, and just as a thank you, I'd rather send Dougie to a team with a real shot to compete. He's done everything asked of him and more in a Devils jersey, but it's a business at the end of the day. A brutal business indeed. A brutal business indeed. And guys get moved all the time that think they're going to be somewhere forever. Sometimes forever doesn't last too long. Sean, Carolina doesn't have good streamers that are fans, so Carson has to go to the stream. Dude, I haven't watched anything Hurricanes related. I'm sure they have some. There's got to be something. I think there's at least something for every team at this juncture. Is there not? Johnny Hockey. Yo, Ace, Quinn won't change our franchise. We really just need Jack and whole team for that matter to stay healthy. I think he could help. He's obviously a top player in the league. Is he the most ideal player for us? I don't think so. I would say it would be, you know, a big physical winger would be the most ideal piece to bring in. But I you know, it'd be crazy to not believe that the team is better with Quinn Hughes than without. I mean, Quinn Hughes is a top 5 player in the league, probably. Carson says, indeed. Sean, would you trade Dougie for Quinn? Is that a real question? Of course you would trade Dougie for Quinn, but that's nowhere near a realistic trade. That's like saying, would I trade, you know, a 1995 Nissan Sentra for a 2025 BMW? Maybe that's a little exaggerated, but you know, that's nowhere near a realistic trade. It would take a ton of things to get Quinn Hughes. Carson said, plus I like Ace. Thanks, Carson. Devil Heaven 77, Yegorov next year. I don't think so. I think you're going to see him maybe either the season after that or possibly if Coach Jay Pandolfo gets his way and gets 2 more full years of Yegorov, then we'll see him the season after that. Joseph, I was listening to 99.9 The Fan in Carolina, and they didn't sound confident going into Jersey. I mean, based on what, though? How would you not be? You're up 2-0. I mean, Carson, deal that makes sense in my mind to Vancouver. Hamilton, 2 prospects, 2 picks, NJD, Quinn. Well, I mean, but you left it very vague, Carson. If you're talking about, you know, Vancouver would probably name our 2 best prospects and then say 2 first-rounders, which to that deal I would say, hell no. Now, if you're talking about 2 mid-tier or lower-end prospects and like second-round picks, then sure. But the devil's in the details in your proposal there. And I think the players and types of picks Vancouver would be asking for would make it an absolute deal breaker for me. Devil Heaven 77, carry 3 with Yegorov, Dawes, Markey. You're not going to see Yegorov next year. I think the earliest you see him is the season after. And even that, I think, could be a coin flip. Lopo, Prods, do you think Siegenthaler will play? I think if we win game 3, there's a chance you see him in game 4. If we lose game 3, then I think no. I don't think he'll risk potentially, you know, aggravating the injury or suffering a bigger setback in a game like that. Jason, no, Dougie's value is only going to go down now. In my opinion, now's the time to move him. Listen, I still like Dougie. I understand why everyone talks about this all the time because the $9 million. But people are going to miss him when he's gone. Mark my words. Sean, once Jack and Dougie get injured, we fall apart. We'd have at least 1 win in the series if we had them. I mean, Dougie's played. Now, would Jack make a difference? Tough to say. I can't say for sure. Just the power play alone, I think he would have a big impact. But that first game, we were so outmatched. Like, I don't know that Jack would have mattered. I would believe Jack could have made a difference in game 2, but Dougie's back for the playoffs, so you can't use that. He is playing. Jack alone would have a big impact. I just don't know if it's the difference between a win or a loss in either one of those games. Carson says this run is also probably Freddie Anderson's last dance. He's 35 on the last year of his contract. If he doesn't win this season, who knows? Well, I would certainly love to send him into retirement or to another team by winning the next 4 games in a row. Stanley says, I really want to dislike Carson, but he's basically a regular here. Chico, Fitz has a plan. The problem is the plan changes 8 times a day. Yeah, I think there's a lot of, replanning and new planning. Stanley, Chico, if the plan is to bone the franchise into oblivion, then yes, he has a plan. Chico, if I'm Buffalo, I'm giving Jake Allen whatever he wants to sign there. Exactly. Like, how are you going to compete with that? Like, I could see a team offering him maybe 2 years, $7 million. Like, the Devils cannot afford to do that whatsoever. M. Sharp said, I'd be happy if we played the Caps. So would I. I would love to go up against Ovi for a playoff series. It is crazy. I've mentioned it before. But it truly is wild that both Ovechkin and Sid Crosby have been in the league for 20 years, and the Devils have not played either one of them in the playoffs. That is like mind-blowingly crazy because we were bad for so many of those years. Carson said, Sean, an Eastern Conference final run is the best the Canes will do this year. I'm being honest. This year is a retool, and I think round 3 would be an accomplishment for my team. Okay. What are the restaurants around Prue Center? There's not many what do you mean by around? There's not a ton. There's a few that are right there. Like, 2 of them are bars right across the street. And then there's another one. What the hell did that place become? I forget. Mad for Chicken. That's what it became. Yeah, I've never been in there. Carson, how about Ottawa, Toronto? I really expected 5 to 7 games out of Ottawa. I picked Ottawa to win. I'm a little stunned that they're getting steamrolled like this. American Whiskey on the other podcast. American Whiskey is one of the bars right across. And this place called Reds with devil stuff everywhere. Yeah, there's 2 bars side by side right across from the arena, like 2 feet. Lopo Prods, if Quinn comes to New Jersey, we're winning the cup, I'm calling. I would love to see it happen. I'm not going to say that's going to put us over the top because there's so many other variables. Depending on when he gets here, what other changes happen to the roster before then. But obviously, I think he's a very good player. Chico, on the Quinn trade, we're obviously on the same page there. I'm on team wait for free agency. Yeah, why give up any assets? Like, I get it. Yeah, 2 years sooner is cool, but if it's going to cost you substantial pieces, then just wait. Sean said, hold on, I'll be back when I find a Carolina Hurricanes fan that's a good streamer. Okay. Chico, Quinn Hughes almost dragged the Canucks to the playoffs on his own. He's a massive minute muncher and scores an insane rate. He instantly makes the Devils much better. In a vacuum, I agree. But if you're talking about, again, back to a hypothetical trade, if it's like some ridiculous package, then I could say that the pros don't outweigh the cons. But just on a 1-to-1 kind of thing, of course he makes the team better. He'll make any team he goes to better. Derek, Quinn and Luke would be redundant. There's only so much power play time to go around. Yeah, but aside from the power play, think about 5-on-5. If you got one of those 2 on the blue line for, call it, between the 2 of them, I would imagine 60-ish% of a game, if not more. One of the two of those Hughes brothers will be out there patrolling the blue line, bringing that offensive threat at all times. It would be nice to have. M. Sharp says, big physical winger with a long stick and scoring talent. That would be my number one want. Devil Heaven, Devils fans don't cash in here regardless of the season. Remember, we're still on our rebuild. Maria says, we're rooting for Brady. Too bad. I was too. Who knows? Maybe getting swept will leave a bad taste in his mouth, and he'll be like, screw this place. I can't win here. I don't think that's going to happen. But, you know, you never know. The rumor mill could start up. Sean said, bro, no joke. I look up YouTube Carolina Hurricanes and then filter it to live, and I see ace in the first result. I guess there's not a lot of Hurricanes people in the game. I don't know. Andrei Strechnikov. Devils in the details. I see what you did. Do you see that? M. Sharp, it's so hard for small players in the NHL. Kudos for them for even getting here. What heart. Carson, I had Toronto in 7. Maybe a terrible take considering how young Ottawa is. I just thought they were going to give them more of a problem, but who knows? You know, and a lot of it is also just kind of a, you know, an anti-Leafs pick as well, because they are just such choke artists historically. But maybe it was the Keefe curse. Oh man, if and when Toronto wins that series, and if the Devils get knocked out in the first round, all the shit people are going to be talking about Keefe is going to be brutal. They're going to be like, oh, you see, it was the Keefe curse. This core 4 is great, da-da-da. And then they're going to be like, see, he went to New Jersey and they're out in the first round. But really, New Jersey wasn't in the playoffs last year. So, you know. Johnny Hockey says the key to the series is to limit Martinuk. Why is he Wayne Gretzky against us? Over the years, the Devils have had a bunch of guys that have just seemed to have our number. Like back in the day, Alexei Morozov on the Pens was just always scoring big goals against the Devils. It was crazy. Chico says that Leafs team is just better. The Sens can answer one of Matthews, Marner, or Nylander, but not all three. Falker, sports cards, Jack would obviously be a big threat, but not only that, he would push guys back to lines they belong on. Well, yeah, you could then kind of make a normal line combinations and not be like, what the hell is this? But in the end, the bottom 6 still needs help too. Brett B says, give Chico Resch the GM job. Sean, unless your name is Marty Brodeur, Devils goalies play amazing their first game, then play mid-rest of the season. I hope Yegorov is good. I saw Big Mike live in Boston a couple months back, and I seen a bunch of games of his on television as well, but I will tell you, when I did see him live, I was very impressed, and I was able to witness his first career collegiate shutout, which was pretty cool. And then walked outside to a blizzard. When I was there for the Four Nations weekend, but it was great to see him live, and he's a beast. I actually put up a video recently. I put up a Yegorov video in the chat if you're interested in seeing some footage of him. There's some warm-up footage on there as well as game stuff. He looks like a beast. I think he's the real deal. Jay Snow, Jack would have made a huge difference. I think the power play is having a lot of trouble with setting up power plays, and Jack commands a ton of attention. Also, Jack's speed is a weapon against a team that pinches heavy. And also, you know, what maybe the thing that people forget about is Jack's off his ozone entries are ridiculous. He just slices through people and makes it look effortless. Sometimes we don't get that entry as easily, and Jack is one of the best in the league at it. Devil Heaven says, remember, we play for the horns on the front, not the name. Crest on the front, not the name on the back. Sean, Chico as a GM would be crazy. AVA 78 bye Uncle Lou. Yeah, they showed Lou the door in Long Island. Say it ain't so. Random man, I bet white towels and no Yanni tomorrow. Scratch my head. That being said, go team. Yanni obviously referring to one of the greatest Devils hype-up entrance video songs of all time. Just completely ridiculous. Jay Snow, we need Timo to find the back of the net badly. We need anyone to find the back of the net badly. Anyone. I don't care who. But I'm looking for a lot of guys. I mean, listen, we have 2 guys that scored a goal, right? I mean, Nico and Bratter. Timo's got to start burying some. Would love to see a guy like Nason kind of come alive. But anybody, playoff, Palat, anyone score a damn goal. A defender would love a defenseman to put one in. Maybe a Dougie bomb. Maybe Kovacevic fires a random one that finds its way. Maybe Dylan. I don't care who. Just score. Carson, 13 points in 7 games, and in all 7, Martinuk has a point. I believe it's ridiculous. Himstall, Stanky are just grinders. Winning battles is the key off of dumping it. Yeah. I wish we had some more junkyard dogs that could win those battles. Sean, if Timo plays like he does on March for the whole season, we'd be so much better. He had some unfortunate bounces in that last game. A lot of people were being super negative, but I love Timo. Paulie Walnuts, my son just got home from work and asked me if I was watching the NFL draft. I totally forgot about it. Rather watch my buddy Ace and talk hockey instead. I appreciate that, Paulie. Although I will say, I think I'd like to believe that I'm at least a hair more entertaining than the NFL draft. I actually caught a few minutes of it myself. I was just curious about the drama in the beginning, and it's like, oh my God, I was bored out of my mind. So many minutes between picks. And I'm like, dude, get on with the show. And then they did all kinds of bullshit. I mean, I just, it's not for me. It's not for me. But the Jags traded up to that number 2 spot to take Hunter. Quinn would be here technically when he's 27. Chico, my fear is the owners get too enamored with the marketing opportunity of having all 3 Hughes brothers and overpay to the moon and back to get him early. I fear that too, but that's where like Fitz would have to be like, listen, like it's happening. Just wait. There's no point in giving up a treasure chest of assets to get him sooner. Like he could come in 2 years. Let the anticipation build for all the little girls and all the people, you know, oh my God, the Hughes brothers, like, yeah, that's like the Jonas brothers of hockey. Let them wait 2 years. He could come here when he wants in free agency. Chico, I saw someone say hischier for Quinn Hughes, and I'm not kidding. If that happens, I'm becoming a Canucks fan for a bit because Devils ownership will have stabbed us in the back. Chico, they're not that stupid. I understand there's stupid fans that write shit like this, but come on, man. The Devils aren't stupid. That would just be so ridiculous. Joseph Anderson's had health issues. There's speculation in Carolina if they go with Kochetkov tomorrow to not overwork Anderson. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. If it was up to me as a Devils fan, I don't know if I would prefer to go up against Freddie or Kochetkov. I probably would prefer to go up against Kochetkov. When was the last time he played? He hasn't seen us yet. Either way, we got to light up whoever's in net. Whoever is in net must get lit up. Stanley, that's all the owners give a shit about, marketing and concessions. And I think ticket sales, obviously. Sean says, I mean, Chico, that would be captain for captain type trade. I could see that happen. I can't see that happening. That would be completely insane. If the Devils did that, I don't even know what I would do. There'd be a mass outrage, I think, from a lot of the fan base. The more knowledgeable fan base would be outraged. Now, is there tons of idiots that would be celebrating that? There definitely would be, but they're idiots. People that know better, longtime fans, would all be rioting in the streets if they ever did that trade. Chico, we are still in our rebuild. No, we're not. This is the build. This is the core. Win or die. This is no longer the rebuild. You sound like a win now guy, Chico. You sound like a little bit like a win now kind of guy. Chico at Carson, they should use that cap space to try and trade for a goalie. M Sharp says Brady won't wait forever. Learn from Big Bro. I could see him eventually asking out. Who knows when? I mean, if that time ever comes, the New Jersey Devils better be at the front of the line, offering some enticing packages to get him here because I do think he's a difference maker. Random Man says, also, Toronto won a round last year. The real challenge is round 2 versus Florida. Why did I think? No, they didn't win last year. It wasn't last year that they won one round. They were out in the first against Boston last year in 7 games. That's what I thought. Yeah, Keefe got out of the first round once there. And it was in the season before. They beat the Lightning in the first round in 22-23. The season the season that we beat the Rangers, and we were both in the Elite Eight, and they lost 4-1. Like we did. They lost to the Panthers. We lost to the Canes. Carson said, Chico, I'd love it. Maybe Tulski can make another. I don't know what that is. Art says, replace Dougie with Queen. That's with Quinn. Palat with a decent forward. Add a top 6 winger and get rid of Tatar, Bash, and Lazar. Send Kovacevic to the moon. Art, what are you talking about? Kovacevic is a good defenseman, and he's not going anywhere. We just signed him long term. And replacing Dougie with Quinn is not realistic. And adding a top 6 winger because of cap space is probably not realistic as either. This is just kind of like video game dream stuff. Johnny Hockey, Keefe is not the problem. The problem is having crappy AHL players in a playoff lineup. That is ridiculous. If Fitz will be here next year, I know Fitz will be here next year, but I wish he wasn't. I agree, Johnny. I think Keefe has done pretty damn good with the lineup he inherited. And quite frankly, like you pointed out, there's been AHL players on the roster all season long and in the playoffs. And so I can't blame him. Obviously, you know where to put the blame. And it's not Keefe. I mean, he could only work with what he has. Random Man says, I thirst for the Yanni entrance music, Ace. I actually played this in the car with my buddies on the way to the Devils-Rangers game a few weeks ago. What a classic it is. Such a classic. And they had it lined up with the crazy video they would show. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. That what a time. Dire Wolf, nothing means anything until a home team loses. I agree the odds aren't in our favor, but I'm hoping we at least make it respectable. I'm with you, but I still want to win the series. I'm not giving up hope until it's officially over, and hopefully that's not for a while. Alex says we better shoot a lot tomorrow. I agree. Just throw pucks at the net. Do like the Canes do. Look for tips, rebounds, whatever. Just throw pucks at the net and work hard down low. Sean says, Ace, I'm going to go shower, then sleep. Good night, everyone. Let's go Devils. Good night. Carson, it's simple. A team needs a goalie to win a cup. In the first 3 games of the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals, the goalies Anderson and Ranta had a .940 save percentage. We need more offense in the playoffs. You're talking to fans of a team that scored 1 goal a game in the first 2 games, my man. Jason, I think teams that go up 2-0 have like an 80% chance of winning the series. I'd imagine it's something like that. Ethan says, red out, guys, Friday and Sunday. Devil Heaven, stop turning over pucks deep in the zone already. That would be nice. Get some quick clears instead of playing around and letting the Canes have these extended shifts in our I got a pop-up about Shedeur Sanders, like I care. Chico, all I ask of this Devils team in the series, given all the context, just go down swinging. For sure. But I still want to win the series. Stanley says, Niemi won a cup. It can happen if the team is loaded, referring to Antti Niemi on the Blackhawks, which was a just filthy, disgustingly talented team with Patrick Kane, Taves, Duncan Keith. I think Hossa was on one of them for sure, if I'm not mistaken. Dustin Bufflin. I mean, my God. Seabrook. I mean, those teams had crazy guys. Crazy amount of talent on those Blackhawks teams. Carson says, how long was Stolar signed in Toronto? I would love having him too. He was on my short list of guys I wanted the Devils to look at if we couldn't land Markey or one of the other bigger names. Like he signed for 2 years, so he has next year. He signed a 2-year, $5 million deal. What a great deal. 2.5 milli. New Jersey native, by the way, for those that are unaware. He is a New Jersey native. Jason, no, believe me, the Devils in goaltending have been a nightmare. I would say that's an understatement. We had 5 million goalies between Marty and Markey. And really the only one of note before Markey was Corey Schneider. The rest were just, guys that were career backups, were kind of yo-yoed between the AHL and the NHL. And Markey was the first real goalie we had since Corey Schneider. What a decade and a half, or at least decade and a couple years of just nightmarish goaltending. BC says, absolutely wait 2 years. Don't let our idiot owners push for a trade. I agree. Unless unless the price was really low, where you're like, for the 2 years, or however long earlier, it could be worth it. But I don't want to see it. Chico, the Devils aren't stupid, he said, as we go into our third game of cheering for half an NHL lineup in the NHL playoffs. Fair point. I do think it's slightly different than, trading for Quinn, knowing you could have him in free agency for free. But it is a very fair point. You would imagine that we wouldn't be where we are now, right? And so, yeah, I mean, listen, now you got me freaking out that they'd be dumb enough to do the Nico deal. I mean, could they be that dumb? I don't think so. Dire Wolf, to get Quinn here early, I'd do one of Nemitz, Casey, Salayev, a first and a B prospect. If they don't want that, I'd wait for free agency. There is value to getting him early, though. Yeah, I agree. But for me, that would have to be for at least 2 playoffs. So I guess I may consider a package like that at the deadline next year, assuming the Devils are a playoff team, because then you'd still have them for the playoff run. But I obviously, if you're going to do a package like that, you'd like them for 2 full seasons, which would be like getting them this offseason. But I do think other teams could possibly offer more than that. You're talking about a promising young defenseman, a first-round pick, and a B prospect. I think other teams would pay more than that for 2 years of Quinn Hughes. BC, I've been saying it for months. Our idiot owners are only concerned about sales, new casual fans, selling merch, and our of a GM is only concerned about making them happy. It could all be true. I hope it all to be proven wrong at some point, but as of right now, it's hard to kind of not believe that. Chico, on win now, I'm a win now guy and have been since 21-22. In my opinion, that's the season the rebuild ended. If you peek under the hood, that team was just a healthy Jack and a goalie away from the playoffs. You have the core you're going to win with or die with. Do everything you can to make that a win. Completely agree. The core is aging, and again, the reminder I like to give everybody all the time, this is the 8th NHL season for your captain, Nico Hischier and Jesperbratt, and in their 8-year careers thus far, they have won 1 single playoff round and 6 total playoff games. It's terrible. Terrible. AVA78 says, give Marty complete control. So on that point, it's funny you say that, because people have talked about, in a post-Fitzgerald world, who would I want for a GM? And I firmly have said without hesitation that if Marty wanted the job, I would fully say, let's see what he could do. He's been around hockey forever. He's won at every level. I certainly would believe in him over, Fitz. Now, if Fitz does get canned, is there a possibility that they bring someone from the outside? Absolutely. But if Marty wanted the job, in my opinion, you have to give him the job and hope that it works out. Ryan, what do you think of Ottawa getting dog walked versus the Leafs? I'm a little surprised, but this could be a year where the Leafs, do some damage with a new coach trying to not go down as one of the most underachieving, core fours, whatever you want to call it, of all time. Johnny Hockey, any chance we can recreate what we did against the Rangers when we went down 0-2? There's definitely a chance. I don't know how likely it is, but the chance exists for sure. Chico Anderson's been really shaky this year. Get rubber on him, and eventually it'll start going in. He has mentality issues too, so once you knock him off his game, he's done. It would be nice if we could just start pelting him, if he does play tomorrow, to just fire shots on him from everywhere and just get after it. And like I said, we need the Freddie chance. Freddie. Get him nice and rattled. Carson says, what's up with the 8 p.m. start time? Why is it later? Something with TV, I'm sure. The TV dictates everything. Stanley, AVA, did you see what Marty did with the third jersey? Keep him far away from GM. I don't buy that whole story. You think Marty really sat there and designed the jersey? He was probably in a couple meetings for, 20 minutes, a half hour. I don't think Marty was sitting there sketching up jersey designs. Chico says, I absolutely still want to win the series, and I think it's doable. That's why I get so worked up by the losses. If it was just a happy to be here season, I would be completely unbothered. Yeah, nobody should be in the happy to be here mode, but I think a lot of our fans are content with just making it, which is crazy, and it's all part of loser mentality and all part of just the nonsense. Ethan, what do we think it takes next year for a cup run? I don't think this current team healthy is a top contender. I think we need one more offensive piece. Well, you're going to see a lot of different faces next season. But to be a cup contender, I mean, you would like to see a legitimate top 6 winger, and you'd like to see a few bottom 6 guys that could actually contribute brought in. Stanley says, what bothers me is the complete no-show in game 1. And yeah, that was unacceptable. I was a little stunned that it was that bad. You know, the first couple shifts, they came out flying. And then Carolina got that goal, and it was kind of all downhill from there. Khalil, I think I said this last live, is Tatar going to play at least one game? One more game, you mean? Let me see something. Yeah, Tatar was in game 2. Devil Heaven 77, Running with the Devils, great tune. Devils fans, who sang that? Van Halen. Chico, I always loved Corey Schneider. That guy gave us everything, and we gave him Rico and Larson, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Imagine if we had Corey on last year's Devils team, or if we even, I mean, we would have been fine with Corey this year as well, but Corey on last year's Devils team would have been phenomenal. Select the boy, what's going on? What's up, Devils folks? Carson said maybe Timo will hit the net. Jason, no, Timo's had no puck luck all year, man. It has been brutal, huh? That one stretch, however long it was, it felt like he had just so many glorious chances night in and night out and just couldn't find a way to bury him. And that bouncing puck in that last game, man. Oleg says, I can see teams like Vegas trying to entice Quinn for big money. Oh, for sure. But the reality is, if he really wants to play with his brothers, then he's going to have to leave some money on the table. If he wants to chase money, then he'll get that too. He's really in the driver's seat here. Chico, from just a pure point of view, Quinn for Nico looks like a steal, but Nico Hischier does so much on and off the ice for this team. They're worse without Nico than they are without Jack. For sure. For sure. I mean, the people that look at just points are idiots, right? It's like, okay, who's going to be then taking all the crucial faceoffs for this team in the D zone or in the regular season in overtime? Who's gonna go up against the other team's best lines? Like all the things Nico does, you're not. That's not. Just gonna be assumed by somebody else, and then you're like, oh, now we have Quinn Hughes. Like, no, I totally agree. Nico Hischier is definitely more valuable to the Devils than Quinn Hughes is, and for me, it's not even close. Select a boy. What game's gonna be on your birthday? Happy birthday. When is your birthday? Jason, no, Nico's still only 26. We need a GM to bring the right pieces in. Well, it's not happening anytime soon. I mean, or at least you're not getting a new GM anytime soon. Fitz is definitely here next year. So, Chico, I just don't know enough about Marty's management style or the moves he would be in favor of to support or oppose him as GM. I'm just uninformed. Well, we don't really know, but either way, I'm going to believe that he is equipped to do the job and do it well. I have no idea either what his management style is or whatever, but I'd have to believe as a guy who's been around the game forever, I think has a good pulse on a lot of things on and off the ice with the league, that I think he would probably be a pretty good general manager. Now, I could be wrong, but you'll never know until he gets a crack. Jason said, I'm not sold on Marty being the GM either. I think it'd be a mistake. I don't think it would be. BC says, if Fitz is getting canned, he'll request Harrison Blitzer hire Megan as the GM. Well, apparently Kate Madigan's going to interview for the Islanders job. Jason said, I don't want her. We need someone not connected to the organization. I'd prefer someone not from the regime of Fitz as well. Get an outsider. Devil Heaven says, let's not do ex-great players for GM. I mean, Eisman won some cups in Tampa, didn't he? Joseph, both Canes goalies were below 900 save percentage in the regular season. Too much talent on this team not to score on those guys. Completely agree, but as you know, we've made mediocre goalies look spectacular all season long. Stanley Ace, I didn't believe it either, but I'm pretty sure he took credit for that abomination on Cam's podcast. No, I knew that before. They put out an article or something when it first happened that like Marty played a role in the design, but like, let's be real. How much did he really, for all I know, they could have showed him a shitload of jerseys and he was like, I like that one. Like, I mean, come on. Ted says heavier, edgier, more violent. I certainly hope we see that tomorrow. They're going to need it. Chico, I disagree that just off being Marty, that means he's owed the GM job. I think you have to give him some kind of role at the team, but GM is a role you should really have to earn, in my opinion. Well, what do you think he's been doing for the couple of years he worked under Doug Armstrong in St. Louis, and for however many years he's been here now? He's in all these meetings. I think a lot of people think being a GM is much harder than it actually is. Like, there's a staff of people that run the numbers and do all the shit. So I do think I think he could do the job. And he's put in some level of work. It's not like they just called him out of the blue and were like, do you want to be the GM? He has a title. I don't know what the hell his title is now. Executive vice president of something. I can't keep track anymore, but he's definitely involved in that world. Stanley says, Marty as GM is too risky. Imagine he's worse than Boozeface. You just can't have his name attached to a losing product. I'll tell you this, Stanley. There is no chance he could be worse than Boozeface. It's not possible. It's simply not possible. Chico, Nico would be a point-per-game player if he didn't have to do all the defense, too. For sure. He's basically the specialist for everything. He's the specialist for everything. So, probably the most valuable overall player on the Devils because of how good he is at how many things. PK, power play, face-offs, go against the other team's best guys. Ryder, yo, this live chat is way too quiet. The Devils keep hitting Carolina at this rate and their legs are pumping. When legs get tired, we will smoke these chumps. Let's go. Happy birthday, Selecta. Tomorrow, hopefully they get a big win for your birthday. TSS, imagine if Schneider and Kovalchuk were on the same team. That would have been fun. Chico, the fact that he's close while also being one of the best defensive forwards in the NHL and the second best faceoff man, only behind Sid the Kid, is incredible. I'm sick of fans shitting on him. What fans are doing that? Some of our stupid fans? I mean, there's plenty of them. Andrew, I got tickets for game 3 and 4 for my birthday. I'd sacrifice 5 years of my life to tie the series or 10 to win the series in 6. Ryan, man, we got to fix this poopy bottom 6 in the offseason. I'm sure that's probably priority number 1 is make sure we get some guys that could chip in. Jay Snow, I love Marty. He has zero experience running a team. We have no idea how involved he really is. But again, how hard do you think this is, Jay Snow? You don't think he could be like, I think we need this type of guy, that type of guy? I mean, the bar should be very low. Look at what you're getting right now. You don't think he could do better than that? Joseph says, Kate Madigan has a master's in accounting and a bachelor's in business administration. Devils should keep someone good with money. I think there's so many people behind the scenes working on like cap stuff and cap projections. I think they need someone who knows the game and understands the game. And when they see a team struggling, they can identify what types of pieces need to be brought in to fix said problem. And that was something that Lou Lamoriello, He had his finger on that pulse of every New Jersey Devils team he was there for and made some amazing moves in season, or whether it was early in the season at the deadline, and constantly made moves that ended up being super meaningful on cup runs. It was phenomenal. LJ, I think Marty, as a disciple of Lou, would make a good modern version GM. He would not have sat on his hands for the trade deadline. You'd like to believe so. Stanley says, if she's heavily involved with the current product, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, Kate. I mean, it's to me, if you're being honest about it, it just seems like where we are now from 2 years ago is a couple steps behind. I mean, I haven't seen much improvement, so it is kind of tough. What does Kate Ryder? What response was that? Good night, Ace. I'm confused, but good night. HC Neon, my birthday was the last game of the season, and I went. Happy birthday, me. Oh, man, the Detroit game? Fan appreciation night? Brutal. Brutal. Chico said that was a shot at the idiot who kept crying that Nico wasn't captain material. There's a couple of them, but, you know, there's people that just don't understand anything, so it's just like, why waste your breath? Collect records, what's going on? I'm sure Quinn Hughes wants to play with his brothers, but I could also see him using that as an excuse to get out of Vancouver. If Florida threw $13 million at him, would he come here for $9 million? Not to be conspiratorial. I mean, yeah, if it's like an 8-year deal, right? You're talking about $4 million difference times 8's $32 million. Like, yeah, do you want to play with your brothers that much? $32 million worth. I think it's a fair question. Skywalking, will the Devils come back or not? I mean, the odds are against them. I'm hoping they do. Would love to see it happen. Chico, it almost bothers me more that when Fitz does make a move, he tends to have a pretty good track record in terms of trades and signings. Yeah, but all of the trades and signings are in the offseason. My issue with him is, what are you doing during the season? That's what matters more than anything. Can you adjust in the middle of the season? 2 years in a row, underwhelming in-season moves. Ethan, possible hot take, our goal song needs to be updated. We had such a downgrade from Rock and Roll Part 2 to Howl, and the You Suck is too quiet, not good for a playoff atmosphere. We need something better. Rock and Roll Part 2 is perfect. I'm not a Howl fan myself. Rock and Roll Part 2 is just so perfect. Chico, like, he didn't bring in enough the trade deadline, but everyone he brought in has made a positive impact. He couldn't take one overpayment to bring in a McCann or Raquel too. I mean, but how positive of an impact was it, man? Let's just be realistic. Glass or Sprong are not moving the needle. I guess that would leave probably Dumoulin as his best deadline pickup. John Fay, alrighty, boys and any girls, all I came to say before heading to bed, we shall not surrender to the storm without a fight. That is all. Good night, and let's be prepared to make some noise, lads. Let's go. Get there and make noise. I got stuff to do. I got to get off here soon. LJ, remember when the Islanders looked at their backup goalie and were like, wait, you should be GM for a decade. Garth Snow. Devil having all the new fans don't understand the build and success of our team. Being a fan since the old school 86. M. Sharp, Nico reminds me of Patrice Bergeron. I loved him as a player. Hopefully, pretty soon, Nico Hischier gets a Selke trophy. I think he will be nominated this year for sure. I don't know what the odds of him, capturing it are, but I do think he wins at least one in his career before it's all said and done. But he's going to have a stiff competition in Barkov every single season. I think he'll be right there as well. AVA, retired Breland's 18. I know he's in the Ring of Honor, but it's the only player to win all 3 cups. Yeah, no, I've talked about this in the past. I think the Ring of Honor was the perfect honor for him. There's no chance his jersey's getting retired. That's why they put him in the Ring of Honor, because they felt he was a guy that deserved some very big kind of recognition, but fell short of jersey retirement, and that's what the Ring of Honor is for. Ryan, my biggest issue is with Booze Face is letting Coleman go. I don't remember the situation, but he was a tier player. I like Coleman, but he makes a lot of money now too. He got paid a lot. Chico, that's what I'm saying. He did bring in guys who made the team better. He knows what to look for. I would have been perfectly fine with him losing a trade to bring in someone who did move the needle. Who knows? And I'm now starting to think he just got lucky in the summer. I don't know. I don't know how you could make all those moves after being like, we're too soft. We got to be heavier, edgier, more violent. You make those moves, and then you sit on your hands while we just suck all of 2025. Then you're like, I got the perfect recipe for the deadline. Daniel Sprong and Cody Glass. Like, how is that I don't want to get bad. I think that has a lot to do with owners and spending money too, but whatever. Collect records. Do we think it's a lock that we see Foote, Hallinan, and Gritsuk in the bottom 6 next year with Cotter? Hopefully Gritsuk is better than that, but curious how many people we really need to bring in. I don't think Foote and Hallinan are a lock by any stretch. I would say Gritsuk most likely is. And again, to your point, hopefully he could be a top 6 guy. That would be best case scenario. But worst case scenario, I think Gritsuk's a bottom 6 guy. Foote and Hallinan, I'm not sold on either one of them. Based on how they were utilized this season, I don't have a lot of faith in that. There are definitely possibilities. Let me see something. Yeah, like, I don't even know if Foote gets re-signed after this year. And Hallinan signed for next year. So that could be, but it's like, why wasn't he given more opportunity this year, though? He is signed for next year. Foote is not. Chico, I know he gave Jake Allen his word or whatever, but that's a goalie I really think the Oilers or someone else would have jumped at. Could have been a package for a top 6 winger. I certainly would have been floating it. I 1,000% would have been floating that out there to try to get, an impact forward. What's your take on Hart? There's really only 4 names. It's going to be Kuch or Nate Dogg. One or the other. Kucherov or McKinnon seem to be the only choices, in my opinion. Daniel, I think it's possible the Devils win tomorrow, lose game 4, win 5, 6, 7, and then lose the first of next round. If the Devils are down 3-1 after 4 games, I think they're cooked in 5. I think the Canes close them out on home ice. They got to win the next 2. Devils fans have an amazing night. See you Fockers soon. Dire Wolf, there was no one we were getting at the deadline with Jack out for the playoffs that was worth the assets. This is a common thing that people regurgitate incessantly, and it's just a horrible excuse. I am not, and the other people complaining about the deadline are not saying that we should have went out there and spent assets on a rental player. There's tons of players that were rumored, names floating around that have 2 years more on their contract. And so it is worth parting with assets because we would have had some of these guys for this year and 2 more years. And now you see what we have to do in the offseason. Lots of holes to fill. We could have filled some at the deadline this year and give us less construction to have to do in the summer. Chico, I think we had moves in mind, but balked at the cost in terms of prospect. He put a lot on the line to take Nemeth, so I think he's going to sink or swim with this player. I wouldn't be surprised. Danny, Canes fan, but haven't been enjoying your content during the season so far. Going to be there tomorrow. Hopefully it's a good game. Oh, look at you making the trip. Do you live in New Jersey, Danny, or did you make the trip? Hopefully you have a good time at the arena, have some good food, and you witness your team lose. Chico says, in my opinion, the Hart has to go to Cooch. Devil Heaven, hopefully, regardless of our offseason, should be amazing. Go Fitzinator. Carson, I think Hellebuck is a little overrated in the Hart combos. They're not going to give him the Hart. They're going to be like, take your Vezina and be happy. LJ, Fitz said, get me a glass, make it strong, and somehow ended up with glass and strong. Daniel, should our win song be the violin intro to Devil Went Down to Georgia? Absolutely not. Andrew, I went to games 1 and 2 in Carolina, and the crowd was insane for every single play. As fans, we have to bring it tomorrow. I know I'll be there ready to go. Yeah, we do. And I needed to kind of beat that point home. And so I actually made a video about that very topic, Andrew, that came out of earlier tonight. Carson says, no question, Helly gets the Vezina, but hard is a long stretch. Yeah, I think so, too. Daniel says he recommends the chicken and waffles at Prudential. I've never had it, but sounds pretty interesting. Chico, honestly, at this point, I go 7 D-men, get Casey out there sheltered to create offense and throw extra shifts at Bratt and Timo. Okay. Interesting. It's an interesting concept for sure. I always like getting the big guns extra shifts, especially when we're struggling to score goals. Like, that, in my opinion, that could only help, right? Let's get the big guys out there. Couple extra shifts. Collect records at LJ. You're a poet and you didn't even know it. All right. Anyone have anything else? I'm going to start wrapping this up. Any closing, anything? Daniel, you may have said this, but what do you think is the most likely outcome if we win this round? Win 2, lose 1, win 2. My brain didn't get that far. But yeah, I guess it would probably be that. Win the 2 at home, so it's 2-2. Then we lose game 5. Come home for game 6, win that to send it back to Carolina for 7, and then win in 7, which, I mean, yeah. That if I had to pick, I would probably say that scenario, but having to win a game 7 in Carolina is a scary scenario. But outside of winning 4 straight, that's our only other option, right? So I would probably say that is the most likely thing. Chico says, call it luck, call it whatever. Seamus Casey gets the puck on net and in the net, and the Devils need that in the worst way right now. I would put him in. He gets shots through for sure. Even if he's not scoring, he could get the puck on net and hopefully create rebounds or deflections or something. I would put Casey out there. You guys know I'm a Casey guy. Mason Keith, Paul Cotter, sun getting hotter, Marky the puck stopper, Devils in 7. Devils in 7 would be wild. Ethan, I honestly wasn't so thrilled with the names of the deadline, so I didn't hate Fitz being hesitant. Also, no rush because Jack is out for now anyway. Cup run was going to have to wait till next season. Sorry, Ethan. That is loser mentality. Loser mentality. You must try to win now. This is year 1 of 2 for Jacob Markstrom. Jack went down. It's unfortunate. I would have maneuvered just the same with or without him. That is loser mentality. That is the future is bright stuff. And constantly kicking the can down the road. It's all just loser mentality. Don't buy into it. There was no reason to hesitate. We should have tried to win now. Carson, Freddie is squeaky even when playing decent. Look at round 2, game 3, 2023. 4 goals on 12 shots. My God, he just doesn't love rebounds and in-tight plays. Chico said, if I see Jack was out, so it doesn't matter. One more time, I might eat the Prudential Center. We don't deserve it with that mentality. It's crazy, right? It's just like some people made this a narrative and it just gets regurgitated. I don't give a shit that Jack is out. I mean, I do care, obviously. I wish he wasn't. But in terms of just being like, oh, well, Jack's hurt, so better luck next year. Like, no, win now. Yeah, the team still has Nico, Timo, Luke, Dougie, Brad, and Marky. It's a good team. Give them help. Exactly. Tell them, Chico. I've been saying this I can't. With the loser mentality and like, oh, Jack's hurt again. Let's just hope that he's not hurt next year. Yeah, because guess what? Who was saying that stuff? Ethan? Because guess what, Ethan? Jack's going to be hurt again next year, too. And then what are you going to say? Oh, well, Jack's hurt again. Maybe next year's the year. No, you must maneuver like a win-now franchise. Chico, that is so much talent. Completely agree. Carson, Chico, before you eat the wildfires, man, engulf it first. I'm pretty sure the fires are super far away. Nico Leishon, I love Nico, but it's time to give up that C. I disagree with that, too. I mean, I don't know. Why would you say that? It makes no sense. Daniel, Marky Mark, and the Funky Bunch right there. Chico, imagine Lou giving up on a season because Scott Stevens got hurt at the deadline in 99-2000. No, because he's not. He doesn't have a loser mentality. Lou was trying to win the cup every single year, literally. His goal was to win the cup, and not like, he said it with conviction. He legitimately thought that we had a chance every single year. And as fans, it was amazing because we did have a chance. We were lethal every single year. There was no massive down years and punting and all this stuff. The Knights just put Schmidt in, huh? Wow. That's Akira's first playoff action since, I guess, was it game 2 against Carolina? Or no, they eventually went back to Schmid for game 5. Yeah, so that's his first playoff action in nearly 2 years. He played in game 5, May 11th, 2023. Chico says, I'm cheering for him. I'm still an Akira Schmid fan. We did him dirty here. I completely agree, and I will always be a Akira Schmid fan. And like I said, franchise legend. He came in when we were down 0-2 and going to the Garden. Everyone said we were getting swept. Not looking good. Lose 2 games of the Rock, and then Akira Schmid comes in, goes in the Garden, wins 2 games, comes back to the Rock, wins a game 5, and then we obviously lost game 6 to the Garden, and then come back to game 7, and you cap off the series with a game 7 shutout. Franchise legend. Daniel, are those Game Worn helmets behind you? Yes, they are. Yeah, game 5. I corrected myself. Carson, I remember the 3-on-1 down low with, I believe, Pesci and Timo missed that wide open net in game 5. He put it right to the crease. It wouldn't have mattered. We were just so overwhelmed in that series. Chico, in my opinion, he wasn't nearly bad enough last year to not have earned another chance this season with the team. I didn't want to give up on him so quickly, but I think there was more than meets the eye behind closed doors. I think that, I don't know. I remember there was some rumblings that like things were getting kind of contentious, and he did get yo-yoed around. He probably just wanted out of here. I think that may have had part to do with it as well. I would have liked to seen him get a little bit more of a shot myself. Daniel, maybe you should wear one tomorrow for good juju. No, I don't wear my game U stuff. And typically, though, I've tried one on before just for whatever, and their heads are small. I have a massive head. LJ, Schmidt is one of those rare legends that didn't have to play long as a Devil to get the status. Completely agree. You bail us out of a 0-2 hole against the Rangers and gave us that glorious night that I'll never forget, Game 7, which, to refresh some of your memories, let me see if I could find it. One of my favorite videos on this channel, in the history of this channel, was from that night. And that moment was brought to us by Akira Schmid. This one, I just dropped a link in the chat for a glorious Rangers Game 7 related video. And I think there was another one that was pretty good. I'll always remember Akira with this one. I'm just dropping a couple links in the chat of Akira. I'm taking a moment to give Akira his props. I talk about him a lot, but Here's another good Akira one. And that'll be it. Check the videos that I dropped in the chat. Some good stuff. Ethan, both no franchise player that's going to be that game difference maker playing 25-plus minutes a night. You can't win. You need him. Yeah, sorry, Ethan, but no. No, Ethan. No. Nope. You could still win with Adam. Chico, this Devils team is so much better defensively, too, that it would have been a great situation for him to rebound. Oh, yeah, for sure. Last year, the goalies were left out to dry a lot, unfortunately. Husky, you're a great ambassador for this team, Ace, and we're lucky to have you. Wish I shared your enthusiasm for this year's playoffs, but I'm bitter and can't shake it. I appreciate that, Husky. I try to stay positive. Obviously, you know, it was a tough season. I mean, right? We were teased early, then there was injuries, and we're just, and then we limped into the playoffs. But we're here now, and so I have to be enthusiastic for as long as I can. And until we lose 4 games, I'll be enthusiastic. But obviously, this is not a great spot to be in. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to understand that. But I do think, Husky, you will be sucked right back in if we win Game 3 tomorrow. You will be right back in. You will be right back on the bandwagon, swinging your towel and cursing at your TV or at the game, and you'll be right back. So I know we're only 1 win away from pulling even the most negative people. Maybe you're not one of the most negative, but pulling the kind of fence sitters, they pull them right back in with a win tomorrow in Game 3. Carson, Jesper Fast had the most goals in the team in 2023 run. Unbelievable. HC Neon, I don't know how to feel about having that McLeod goal in Game 7 being my favorite goal in recent history. I mean, listen, I personally separate people from the talent, whether that's, you know, musicians or sports or whatever. Like, that goal has nothing to do with anything else, and you could talk about that all day. I don't care to waste my time with all that, but that's a play that happened that has nothing to do with anything else outside of it, and so you shouldn't feel bad at all. Carson said, Ace dropping scam links for our non-consent. No, they're just links to my videos, my man. Chico says that Husky, I'll echo this. I first came in talking shit over the summer. LOL, Ace and I are on opposite ends of the analytic spectrum, but in my opinion, he's one of the most reasonable older school guys. I appreciate that. I certainly appreciate that, sir. And I don't completely shit on analytics, but I think a lot of them are pretty absurd. I mean, you know, at some point, the reality matters more than expected this and expected that. That's all. Daniel, I'll be real. I think the Capitals want it the most. Winnipeg is a big contender, and I want to see Devils shock everyone and take them both. That would be amazing. That would certainly be amazing. M. Sharp says, thanks for the video. Never saw those. Yeah, look around on the channel, M. Sharp. That's when this channel started, essentially. It was right before the playoffs in 22-23. My very first video was actually behind the scenes of Luke Hughes before he took the ice for warm-ups. That was the birth of this very channel. That was the stretch that started it all. Daniel said, also, are you an Ace Frehley fan? Or did you get that name elsewhere? I don't know. Who is that to? Who is that directed to? Oh, duh. I'm an idiot, guys. It's been a long day. I'm looking for something Kiss related. No, nothing to do with Ace Frehley at all. I know who he is, obviously, but Stanley Akira will always have a special place in Devil's lore. Absolute ice in that boy's veins to go into MSG down 0-2. For real. What a time to be alive. Game 7. I'll never forget it. I wish we could have went further in the playoffs, but that was a great series and a great game and a great performance by Schmidt in that series. DN 1891. Who remembers Continental Arena? Those were the days, man. A lot of the old timers here do, obviously. The old arena was amazing. M. Sharp, is that the place with the stairs? Are you referring to the arena? All arenas have stairs. Stanley, not only is Ace a great ambassador, he also has influence, voice of the people. I don't know how much influence I have or if people would say I'm the voice of the people, but I do think I'm at least the voice of some people for good, bad, or indifferent. Carson, thanks for eliminating the Rangers that year. Probably would have beat us. Ethan, Continental was in a great location. Should have built Prudential Center in the Meadowlands. Love the Devils, but Newark's not the best. I'm not a huge fan of Newark, and it's just hard to get in and out of there. It's not really meant for mass people coming in or out, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a decent arena, even though it's crazy that it's going to be 18 years old in, next season. It seems like just yesterday we opened it up, and now there's way more newer arenas. Speaking of which, something that pisses me off that just reminds me of, how did we not get an all-star game? I thought we were supposed to get an all-star game with the new arena. We never got that. And then I think they gave us an NHL draft and was like, oh, you didn't get an all-star game. Here's a draft. Like, who the hell cares about the draft? I went to it. It was pretty cool to go to a draft. But the all-star game would have been awesome, and it never happened. Chico, there have been a lot of shitty dudes who have scored a lot of very fun goals throughout sports history. If you're going to judge yourself over all of them, you're never going to have peace. Yeah, exactly. I just take it for what it is, a play in a game. That's it. Ryan says, speaking of that series, I hate the Canes. So do I. I do too. Daniel, great arena area sucks. I agree. Oh, shit. What did I do? Ace, serious question. Booze face or Drury? Not going to lie, I'd rather have Booze face. I would much rather have Drury. Drury went out and got JT Miller at the deadline, or before the deadline. A little bit before the deadline, I think. Making ballsy moves, trying to make his team better. Let's see. And I think Miller did pretty damn good in the Rangers. Yeah. Miller had 13 goals and 22 assists for 35 points in 32 games as a Ranger. Over a point per game. That's a great move for Drury. Trying to get his team into the playoffs. I mean, how are you going to be mad at that move? I wanted Drury. M. Sharp, I remember going up wide, set stairs on the outside leading to the building to see Devils play back in the day. Oh, so yeah, they had a lot of doors. Like, there'd be sets of doors around the perimeter of the arena, and there was a bunch of concrete steps up to them. That is correct. Or you could have went through the main box office entrance, which was kind of sunken, and then you would take an escalator up. But yeah, the doors, the blue doors that were all around the outside of the building had a bunch of concrete steps going up to it. That is correct. Paulie, I just bought tickets to see Ace Frehley earlier today. He's going to be at Starland Ballroom next Friday. I think he lives in New Jersey, actually. For those that don't know, the younger folks, Ace Frehley, an original member of the band Kiss, a global touring phenomenon. Anyone got anything else? Wow, we're almost here. When I wake up tomorrow, it's going to be like, damn, I don't have that much time to waste. I got to get a couple things done, go about my day, and then be heading to the Prudential Center to see the New Jersey Devils playoff action. Something just popped up on this. What the hell is this? Nicohischier, Kings have some balls. Following every home goal, they play the piano tune to taunt the opposing goalie. I like it. Carson, but he didn't make his team better. Made his team pretenders after being contenders in just a season. Rags going in where many people Stanley Cup Finals Metro winner. I didn't watch too much. I didn't really watch any Rangers outside of the games against the Devils. But in the end, I think the players kind of have to take a big chunk of that as well. Like, they just underperformed. I mean, how are you going to blame the GM if that team won if they were regular season champions the year before? Like, that's I forget, they did lose a couple guys, I think, but nowhere to the point of, that you should be like, oh, he's a bad GM. Like, they did pretty good the year before with most of the same guys. Carson says firing Lavi after a season is dumb, in my opinion. Well, I mean, that's pretty standard a lot. You're like, you see a team, they're just that's making people believe something's happening. Like, oh, we fired him, we're going in a different direction. It's not acceptable. And for some people, that's good enough. Dr. Fruity Boots took my fiance to see Ace Frehley on her birthday, her favorite musician. Very nice. Haikudo's got him right where we want him. 0-2 underdogs. M. Sharp, everyone have a great time at the game. Ethan, the thing you said about separating the artist from the person. So do you think we could use Rock and Roll Part 2 even as our goal song, even though it's by Gary Glitter? That's my personal outlook. I don't know how. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't make money off of it either. So if it was up to me, I would 1,000% play it. But I don't think it's ever going to happen. But if it was up to me, I'm 100% using the song. He doesn't make money off it. He doesn't own the publishing or whatever the details are. He doesn't own it. You know, the song is not about committing heinous crimes or whatever he was convicted of. And so for me, it's like, what does the song have to do with anything? I don't know. I hate stuff like this. I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, we can never play the song again because this guy did this. Especially if he's not making money off it, which he doesn't. So it's like he doesn't gain anything from it. So I would still use it. Sharks are kind of cool. Hi, kudos. Akira got put in for Vegas. Not sure if you saw Carey. Yeah, people just mentioned that a couple minutes ago. TSS, they brought the old horn for Game 3 versus Florida in 2012. Is that true? For one game? Carson, my Rangers fan, I guess friend, was arguing with me about the 23-24 season. She was like, at least we won something. Referring to the President's Trophy, would much rather not win anything than being deemed regular season champions. Yeah, unless it's the Cup, who cares? LJ says also it's an instrumental for the most part. Yeah, it's the... Yeah, I mean... Yeah, or have someone do a cover. Exactly. Have someone do a cover as close as possible. That should be an option. It's so funny. This has been talked about so many times. So many times in lives and like in comments. It is funny because I think it's something that people universally agree is like that song was just the pinnacle of goal songs. Ryan says it's just a bad take. Like, when are we going to start? Like, we're going to start hating Tiger Woods? Guy was doing drugs, cheating on his wife, and slanging hookers. Get over it. The guy's the greatest golfer in history. Oh, man. I don't know why. TSS, for some reason, I don't remember. They said you could hear in the replays of Game 3. Did we ever find out? Did we ever find out why they did that? I'm going to have to look into this now. My memory is a little fuzzy on this. Why would they bring it back for one game and then never again? Gary Glitter does not receive payment for the use. Universal Music gets paid. Bring it back already. Yeah. I would love to see it. Would love to see it. If someone was like, what is like a stupid thing that would make me much happier and I think like make a better, whatever you want to call it, like experience or atmosphere, Rock and Roll Part 2 as the goal song would be phenomenal. Daniel says my favorite parts of Tiger Woods are his drugs and cheating, slanging hookers. Oh, someone's a comedian here. New Jersey Devils. We would like to announce that we have signed Ace from Running with the Devils for $100 million. Wouldn't that be nice? TSS, they blew a 3-0 lead in that game. Maybe they got rid of it because they lost. Tiger Woods is my spirit animal. Joseph, the 80s punk band DI redid rock and roll. At least got that one. Damn, forgot how hard the song goes. Ethan, guys, reminder, wear red tomorrow. No jersey jerseys. Want to have a packed red out. Did they announce that as like a red out? LJ, give us a proper black jersey and bring back Rock and Roll Part 2 would go a long way. Would love to see it. Would love to see it. James says, Luke and Dylan out. Any chance we see Siegenthaler? I think maybe for game 4, or maybe he is ready. Again, this is the playoffs. They're never going to give you too much information. Everything's like top secret, Pentagon type stuff. And so I think Keefe's verbatim was like, oh, we thought more May-ish or something like that. But like, it's May-ish right now. We're a week away. So I don't know. We're going to find out before the games. We'll find out before the games. I'm hoping maybe game 4, especially if we win game 3. If we unfortunately lose game 3, I don't think we see Siegenthaler at all. Ryan says, I don't work tomorrow. Thinking about flying in from TO for the game. What a boss move. Do it. Do it. Ethan says, bringing rock and roll part 2 back is not a stupid thing. Would improve the atmosphere exponentially. When I say stupid, I mean just like a small thing that's like a nothing almost on the surface. Would go a long way. New Jersey Devils. After an interview, Ace has said, if the Devils lose this series against the Hurricanes, I will get dreads. No, but I actually, that's a story for another day. Daniel, if I bought a 60 Fanatics premium, what size should I get if I buy Adidas on eBay? I don't know. People have, I haven't put on a Fanatics premium yet, I don't think. I have some game worns over there. I think they're similar, but there's tons of articles, I'm sure, about this, or maybe even videos about the sizing differences. I don't really know offhand because I don't regularly wear Fanatics or Adidas jerseys. I regularly wear like old school jerseys, which are cut entirely differently. Carson says, Ace with dreads. Oh, my Lord. It happened once upon a time. It's a story for another day. But Ace did have dreads for, I think it was like 48 hours a long, long time ago. A long, long time ago. Oh, like Running with the Devil would be a great goal song. I don't like it for a goal song. They play it, I believe, I think it's after the second period heading into the third. Or it might be after the first heading into the second. I forget. But as the team's coming out and like skating around for 2 minutes before the period starts, they play it there, which I like better than I don't think it's a great goal song. Daniel says, if the Devils win the Cup, Ace gets dreads down south. James, I just watched the Devils Stanley Cup run the team with Elias and Kobe for motivation. That team was so good. Yeah, 2012. What a run. It's a shame we couldn't get it for Marty. But didn't happen. We got beat by a very good Kings team. Amagi says sizing is very similar. James says a 54 is large, 54 is XL. I bought one recently. There's sizing charts for this online. Like I said, I wear old school jerseys. I'm an old school guy. Husky Unchained, are we ditching the jersey next year? I think that's the rumor. That's the rumor is that I think next, or was it this year's this year's supposed to be the last year. I don't know. Maybe we don't have an alternate next season. We'll find out. But when we do, a lot of you know exactly what I'm hoping for, or kind of what I'm hoping for. Doug, what's up? What's up, Ace? Let's go. Devils ready for pain. Oh, I don't want pain. I just want to see a win. Daniel, I usually wear 2X or 3X. 60 fit over my hoodie well enough. I always feel like everyone else's jersey fits them better than mine. Maybe I need an older cut like Ace. What should I look for? Bro, an old school. How long have you been a fan for, Daniel? I'm curious. But these jerseys are the shit, bro. The old school jerseys, just nice and wide. Look at this. I got to back up a little bit, maybe. But they're nice and wide all the way down. Look at this. Not tapered. Wide. Wide. The new ones like taper at the bottom. It's horrible. I would never wear one of the new ones. I'm an old school guy. The big oversized cuts. Ryan says, I'm a one-off. I love the jersey. I definitely don't love the jersey. Yeah, Magi. Adidas and Fanatics have the stupid bell-shaped fit. Yeah, I hate it. Hate it. What am I hoping for in the jerseys? I'm hoping for a nice black jersey. The old school one that was sold was perfection. Was perfection. or something basically a flipping of the colors of the Stadium Series jersey would be sick too. James, I really hope the Devils win tomorrow. I have a hockey doubleheader Sunday. I can't watch the game. That's brutal. I would miss the game to watch it. Yeah, Husky got to reverse the Stadium Series jersey and use it as a third. I would love that. I would love that. And shout out to my man, Backhanded Devil. Did a bunch of awesome concept jerseys going back a while ago, even before the Stadium Series jersey was revealed. And he had some really good concepts for all different kind of color combos. Daniel, I was a fan in high school for maybe 2 years, then was swooned this past November seeing Devils take Capitals in D.C. Nice. How long ago were you in high school, though? I don't know how old you are. High school for me was 15 years ago. Oh, so you were a fan kind of a while ago. Yeah, some of the older jerseys weren't this modern kind of tapered. I don't like. Richard says Ace looking like a double wide trailer in that jersey. Oh, thanks a lot, man. Man, I missed the stripes in the bottom of the jersey. It's so much better, right? Oh, man. I know. They should just go back to it. Daniel had a CCM jersey in high school, washed it no problem in high school, and coming back this year, it was destroyed after one wash. Really? I will tell you, my kind of advice is wash jerseys inside out, cold water on the gentle cycle, cold water, gentle, inside out, and then hang dry. That's how you preserve that thing. Paulie says Ace is hoping the Devils would actually have the black starter jersey or something very similar to that. Oh, now the Carolina Hurricanes are here. The Carolina Hurricanes trade prospect Bradley in exchange for Ace. What? Some of you people have way too much time on their hands. Ethan, the Devils also had Seven Nation Army as a goal song for Little. That'd be better than Howell. Like at the Stadium Series was very clear. Rangers had it better with more fan engagement in the goal song. Richard said, not because of you, just because the jersey is so wide at the bottom. I like it so much better. I like all my stuff oversized and baggy. I always have. I don't like anything tight. Especially my hockey jerseys. Like this, this one is pretty big. This one's pretty big, and this one obviously does have the fight strap. Whoever just wrote that, I can't see. Stanley, because this is an on-ice authentic with the fight strap. But yeah, I like my jerseys big, and I like them. You know, I don't like the tapered cut, so I'll never wear any of these newer. You know, like the jersey equivalent of skinny jeans, I suppose. Max says I miss Jack. I think we all do. New Jersey Devils. We'd like to announce that we have bought the Carolina Hurricanes for $2.80 and a Devils jersey signed by Ace. What? Daniel, I'm convinced me washing my CCM is what caused the Devils to go down after Christmas. It's possible. Yep, it's got the fight strap. Stanley, pre-2007 jersey with a hoodie is good living. Daniel, I always feel like the logo pushes up on me when I sit down. Never notice it on anyone else. I don't know about that. Richard, were you from the same era as me with the wide, baggy, saggy pants? Well, again, I like everything baggy. My jeans were never super baggy, and I was never a sagger. Definitely not. But not to get super into the jeans thing, but yeah, my jeans are always baggy, and especially because I would have to buy I have pretty big legs, and so I'd always have to buy jeans a little bit bigger than I really needed because it wouldn't fit my legs. And so even now, a lot of times the jeans I have, like the waist is several inches too big, but that's what I needed to accommodate the lower body, if that makes sense. I'm sure there's some other people that have these issues as well. But always need some room to breathe. No skinny jeans for me. Daniel says that's for CCM and now Fanatics. Yeah, the old school CCMs, and I think even the old Reeboks, the Reebok Authentics, I don't think were tapered either. Ethan, reverse Stadium Series would be so tough, would immediately purchase. Yeah, the reverse of that would be insane. Daniel, I'd get a Stadium Series on eBay, but I don't want to get a size I can't wear and don't know what to get. I mean, buy the biggest size possible. A 60 should be fine. You know, I have some jerseys that I have a couple jerseys that are too small that I would not be able to wear with a hoodie underneath. They're like a jersey with a t-shirt like this. I have a t-shirt on right now, but this jersey is very big on me. But I like them real big. Like, I'm not this fat. Like, if you see, like, you could see that this is all just jersey material. Like, I'm not that fat. This is all just jersey, but I just like it. But I could wear a hoodie under it, no problem. I do have some jerseys that are much smaller and would not be able to accommodate the hoodie. LJ, I used to have a Niedermeyer Coho jersey. I loved it. Very nice. Ethan, 3 Hughes brothers would be great, but I think people are ignoring the fact that they would never be healthy at the same time. I think a lot of people have brought that up. I don't think that people are forgetting it. It is what it is. And, you know, they all kind of have a track record of injuries. Would love to see them kind of be behind Jack and Luke for a while. It would be nice to not have to deal with injuries. Who is doing this with the Carolina Hurricanes and the Devils? Some of you guys, like I said, have way too much time on your hands. Stanley, Rangers goal song is the cringiest thing ever. They know it too. No, the court thing started today. I don't know. I didn't read anything. I just saw a couple headlines. I didn't really dive into it, but apparently their trial started today. That's all I know. We'd like to make an announcement. We have signed Quinn Hughes in exchange for Ace's morning rotor. Ethan, I hate the Rags, but have to admit, when they beat the Isles in OT at the Stadium Series in MetLife, all did their chant. It was tough. Imagine MetLife with Rock and Roll Part 2. I would lose my shit. So would I. I don't think it's ever going to come back, but I obviously would love to see it. Would love to see it happen. I don't know. Maybe if we start a petition, it could happen. Lopo, I have a baseball game tomorrow night, so I can't even watch the Devils game. Lopo, unless you're on a major league baseball team, just don't go to your game. I mean, this is quite simple. Don't go to your game and watch the Devils. Devils, we have bought the state of Carolina for a hockey puck that Ace looked at 6 years ago for 5 seconds. Oh, boy. Some of you guys are pretty funny. I just said, Lopo, just show up drunk and they'll send you home and you can watch the game. All right, I'm going to the bathroom. They're going to start winding this thing down. Wow, I was on here much longer than I anticipated, but I'm fired up. I can't wait to just be in the mix outside the arena in the 70-something degree weather. Yeah, I might have to have the shirt before the shirt. I might need several shirts because that's a long day in the heat. It's like summertime stuff. Daniel, that's a little weird, bro. Take us to the bathroom with you. I mean, how am I gonna? I would never do that, even if I had the capability. Oh boy. I don't know. Some disturbing stuff. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Comments, questions. I do like the suggestions. I do kind of take note of the suggestions. I do like the suggestions. So if anyone has any suggestions about stuff, throw that out there. And I'll be back in 2 minutes. Back in 2 minutes. And we are back. Oh, we are back. I need some water, too. Yeah. Ethan, I read the trial details. Makes me angry I ever cheered from a cloud. I'm not going to talk about this stuff. This is a hockey program. Yeah, LJ, I don't think anyone needs that vlog. Stanley, a 60 is like a goalie cut. Damn. In the old style, 52 is pretty big. 48 is my preference. I actually forget what size this is. This is a... This one's huge, dude, and I'm pretty fat, and this is pretty big on me these days. This is a... I can't... Is that a 58? I can't even... I can't... Hold on. This is like... Dude, I weigh a lot, and this thing fits me pretty big right now. Oh, no, it is a 6. This is a 56. I'll tell you, the 56 in this coho is huge. Huge. I could probably gain 70 pounds, and this would still fit me. But like I said, I like my jerseys huge. Ethan, hey, if you start the petition for rock and roll, I'll happily sign it, and I'm sure other fans would too. I mean, it's an interesting thought. I don't think it's going to matter. Lopo, if you're trying to get a good picture at the game, spam the picture button. I did that once and got a 6-shot. Do you mean by spam the picture button, you mean just like take a million pictures? Ethan, would it be crazy if I bought a horn and did the rock and roll part 2 with the horn thing at game 4? I don't know that you'll successfully pull it off, but good luck to you if you try it. Daniel says, Stanley, I'm big. I'm not huge, but with a hoodie on, the 60 was the only option. I've seen people complain about the Fanatics cut. Either way, I'm trying to lose pounds. Well, the old school jerseys are big, man. I have a CCM Ultra Fill that I think I'll check it in a minute. Hold on. Now you guys are in the... Consider it added motivation. Yeah, I'm trying to lose some weight too. The struggle's real. Hold on. I have another old school jersey. Another one of my favorites. This is the Ultra Fill. The Scotty. This one's also a 56. I feel like this 56 is slightly smaller than the Coho, but it's a good size. It's a nice size. Damien says, as the son of Satan, allegedly, I shall empower my fellow Devils fans to raise hell and achieve victory. Let's go, Devils. Oh, yeah, now the Rangers are in here. Just drop by to remind you, at least we both get to enjoy golf season early this year. Well, you enjoyed it 2 weeks earlier if we do lose in this round. So Stanley said, if you get an older CCM style, you'll probably swim in a 60. Amagi, I have a 60 reverse retro 2.0 because I used to be 300 pounds. When I wear it now, I look like a girlfriend wearing her man's jersey. It's goofy. Amagi, you used to be 3 bills, bro? Wow, you're in the club. I used to be 3 bills as well. 300. McQuell says, good morning. Coho made in Finland. Is that true? I didn't know that. Lopo said, take a million pictures. And yeah, I'm more of a video guy. Ryan says, love the hat. Where'd you get it? Out in TO, there's no merchandise anywhere. This is a Violent Gentleman, actually. I'll give you guys a closer look. I just picked this up, I don't know, in the past few weeks at the arena. I love it. Violent Gentleman. I'm a big Violent Gentleman fan. I have a lot of their merch. It was actually on sale. You hope you have that problem ASAP. Yeah, we all do, man. It's rough out here. It's rough out here, Daniel. I will say, stay away from the carbs and the sugars. Carbs and sugars are the evil. Stanley, did you wash your hands, Ace? That was kind of quick. Of course. The bathroom is very close. I've explained to people. I use the facilities very quickly, wash my hands quickly, and I'm back. I only have to go, less than 20 feet here. Stanley said Ace is going to pull something. What am I going to pull? Daniel, before it was destroyed, my CCM from high school fit me, and it's a large. Yeah, that was a replica jersey. They weren't numbers. The replica jerseys were just the standard letters. I probably wouldn't have fit in a large anytime after. I may have fit a large in 6th or 7th grade. After that, I was a double XL man for life. For life, which is why I have a very extensive Devils wardrobe, as I've explained before, because I've been wearing the same size since I was, early my fandom, basically since the late 90s. So I've accumulated a shitload of jerseys, jackets, hoodies. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. Amagi said, yeah, I lost 80 pounds, put on another 10 since. So then trying to trend back downwards. 300, good for you. That's an achievement. To get to 300, shout out. I was in the club once upon a time. Not that long ago, too. I'm trying to never go back there, but I feel like I'm always one winter hibernation away. Winter hibernation away from getting back there. Daniel, no one's flaming you for the 60, man. Wear what you got to wear. Paulie said he might be golfing soon, so the Rags fan needs to go home and get his shine box. Lopo, I'm going to get out of here. Go Devils. Have a good one. New Jersey Devils, we have bought the word Carolina and the word hurricane for... Rangers. Devils fans, don't worry. You'll bounce back next year. That's what I tell myself every April. I've been saying it since VHS tapes. Oh, boy. What's going on, Ted? Daniel, when will you open the Devils Museum with all of your gear? I don't know. I have so many grand plans. They all just require a ton of money and time. I would love to open a Devils Museum of some kind, though. It'd be so sick. But on a low level, I would at least hope to have my own personal museum. Oh, man, now people are talking about the Panarin thing. Yeah, there's just so many scandals these days. There's a new one every day. I can't even keep up with them. It's like now there's something with Shannon Sharp. There was the Panarin thing. I mean, my God, it's like every day there's a new something. A new something. Stanley, you're doing something right when you have rival fans chilling here. There's even a Winnipeg bot here. No, I appreciate that. And I think it might be more of a function of maybe people being bored. I don't know. But I appreciate it for sure. Damien, I have a plan to win. I have a plan to win the game. Secure the puck, ascend from darkness, rain fire, unleash the hordes, stay winged beast, fist of iron, raise hell, in victory. Step 8 victory. This is from is that Call of Duty? Like Call of Duty is way after my my fandom. I mean my video game era. Ethan, not regularly using the Stadium Series jersey was criminal. 2 uses was a waste of an unreal jersey. Wouldn't have opposed to them making those alternates. Yeah, but they were made under the guise or the premise of them not being reused to keep it special, which I kind of like that aspect of it. Now, would I love to see it flipped? Absolutely. A black jersey with the red logo without the circle would be sick. Daniel said, just get a van, put some gear up, and start a walk through outside the rock. Charge $5. Get a van. I'm talking about something big scale, Daniel. I'm talking like a legit museum, my man, where you just walk through something like a smaller version of the Hockey Hall of Fame, but just for Devils, like a similar concept. Ethan, you think Dougie's being overpaid? Should he be moved? I think he's slightly overpaid, but we had to do that to get him here, so I understand how it all happened. And people, I get all the stuff with Dougie. Obviously, we have a lot of young defensemen in the wings. He takes up a lot of cap. And so the logical thing to do is be like, or for people to say rather, is to be like, Dougie, get him out. And like, at some point it's going to happen before his contract is up. I'm sure of it. But I hope that they have the right pieces in place to withstand that loss. Because I do think it's going to be a big loss, and people are going to remember, what Dougie did, and they're going to say, damn, like we missed Dougie. I think that's going to happen. And you saw it last year, how much we struggled when he went down. He is a valuable portion of this team. Now, could they potentially be a better team overall by moving his salary elsewhere and kind of shifting things around? It's definitely a possibility, but it's far from a guarantee. LJ Ace, what do you think of non-era correct name jerseys, like getting the jersey with Brodeur on the back, for example? What do you think I think about that, LJ? Do you have a guess what my thoughts are? My thoughts are that it's a no. No, that is a jersey faux pas, and I will say I am a jersey snob. I am a purist. I've been collecting game-worn jerseys for, a little over 20 years. And so I hate stuff like that. But I get why people do it. I'm not going to hate on people that do it. I just could never do it personally. And I also see, you see newer jerseys like Adidas ones with Brodeur on the back. Like, I'm like, it kills me a little inside. But I understand how it happens, and a lot of people don't care. And if you don't care, then wear it. But I could never. Bubba Hockey 44, thoughts on buying a Gomez jersey? Very hesitant, but found a good deal. I wouldn't hesitate at all. I love Gomer. 2-time Stanley Cup champion with your New Jersey Devils. He won a Calder Trophy as Rookie of the Year. I love Gomer. Absolutely love Gomer. He is the man, and I wouldn't hesitate. And if you weren't aware, I'll drop the link in the chat. I did an interview with Gomer. I don't know when it was. It was a while back now, but I dropped the interview with Gomer in the chat. If you haven't seen that. Stan said, Bubba, you could do a lot worse than Gomez. He was a good Devil. Completely agree. 2-time Cup champ. Whew. Yeah, no go from me, LJ. David said I tried using for my college team. We were down in the game. Sadly, they didn't get it, but at least it sparked some confidence. Nice. I don't even know how people are doing. Someone must have like multiple devices, and they change their name to team names. It's pretty funny that someone's. Oh, look at this. A really nice picture of my nephews just popped up on my phone for some reason from a while back. Wow. They were small back then. Anything else? No one gave any suggestions tonight. I'm looking for the suggestion box. I need some suggestions. I don't know, guys. Are you going to miss me in the summer? There's not going to be too much summer stuff. There'll be occasional stuff, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot. I'm hoping the summer doesn't start for us for at least another few weeks. Would be nice. Would be nice. They deliver stale bread like the Rangers deliver stale contracts. Stanley, there's absolutely no place for jersey fouls. I mean, listen, if people want to do it, go ahead. Like, it happens a lot. There's a lot of, I've even seen like Stevens on Adidas jerseys. I see a lot of them. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just a snob and a purist. So, Paulie, looking for the Pando interview. Yeah, I really wanted to get that out before the playoffs. And it just takes so long, and I got tied up, and then the playoffs started. So I'll probably put it out like very shortly after our season ends, I would imagine. But that'll be coming soon for sure. Ryan, suggestion, cover the Stanley Cup Finals regardless of the teams involved. That I think I could do. I did a little bit of that last year. I don't remember if like people watched it or cared. So that's definitely possible. Do like a Cup Finals kind of thing. Daniel, you'll review old playoff games one by one until we get to the new season. Oh, boy. That would be excruciating. HZ Neon, are you going to do lives at all during the offseason, like for free agency or the draft? Yeah, I'll definitely, anything big like that, I'll obviously be involved in. But I think that's probably it. I'm trying to think. The draft is the end of June, and then free agency is July 1. Let's see. The draft is in LA this year. The draft is in LA on June 27th and 28th. So, yeah, I'll definitely be doing a lot of stuff at that time. The draft and free agency. That's always it's a big time for everybody. Ryan, Demand, and Markey we trust. Absolutely. We are going to need such a big performance from Markey for however much longer our playoff lasts. Would love to see Markey tie the series up for your New Jersey Devils. Would be phenomenal. Phenomenal. Magi, Nemitz with the A, baby. Living the dream. Only from DH Gate. Paulie, do you plan on doing a locker clean-out video like last season? I'm not sure yet. Potentially, but I'm not sure. Damien, I'll explain. Get the puck, get away from the defensive zone, crash into the neutral, fight for offensive, kill their best guys, shooters ready, pucks on net, win. However the win comes. Bubba Hockey 44 is a fellow Jersey purist. What's your favorite manufacturer? CCM, Reebok, Pro Player, etc. The Pro Player, my favorite. I don't know. I don't know if I could give you my favorite manufacturer per se, but I'll give you my favorite jersey of all time, and it's this one I just pulled out before. It's the CCM Ultrafill. This is just such a beautiful jersey. I've always loved this material since I was a kid. The CCM Ultrafill, friends. That center ice logo. This is just with the nice thick CCM on the bottom. CCM Ultrafill for me is the best jersey of all time. CCM Ultrafill. Pro Player. I have a Pro Player on the rack over there as well. I do like the 2000 Pro Players. Were super nice. That's in my top 3 for sure. And I like this Coho is up there as well. And I do like the CCMs from right before this also. But yeah, for me, easily CCM Ultrafill is definitely number 1, and then Pro Player could be number 2, but it's definitely towards the top. But none of the Reeboks would come anywhere near the top of my list. Yeah, I like the old. There was another CCM year that had like CCM, I think, on the kind of on the back neck. That may have been 01 or 02. Yeah. Daniel, is there any truth to refs at every arena we go to having a problem with us because of Keefe or something? I said I saw it on Reddit, and I don't get why they get that. It was something with Keefe testified, or his relative. There was something that explained it all. This thread, I'm going to link to a Reddit thread because this one has a lot of, I just skimmed it real quick. I just dropped the link in the chat. That kind of sums it up. Stan said, Ace, take some time during the summer. You deserve it. You put in serious work this season. Appreciate your efforts, man. Yeah, I appreciate that, Stanley. I definitely, obviously, it's not possible to be as active during the summer. But I will say it does take a lot more time than people realize. It is a physical and mental kind of grind. And I always knew that, you know, the broadcasters and the radio guys, whoever travels with the team and covers every game in some capacity, that their job is much harder than people would ever believe. The one thing they do have going for them is that they don't have to do any editing or any setup or anything. It's like they literally show up, talk on camera, do their job, and they're out. But they do travel from city to city, and it is very taxing. I'm sure some of them right now feel like they're dying like I do. It's been a very long kind of stretch. I mean, the season's long, right? We're talking about, you know, October, November, December, January, February, March, and now we're at April. It's been 7 months. It is a grind. I definitely have always respected the broadcast team and all that, and realized their job was hard, but I have a little more respect for them after now covering the team on this channel for a whole year. It is a lot. Joshua says, won't be able to make it to the Rock. Please, someone start the fire. Fitz chance in my Bubba, Ultrafills are the best. So rare to come by in good condition. Got to get my hands on one. Yeah, they pop up every so often. They're just the pinnacle of Devils jerseys, in my opinion. And I guess I would probably say they're my favorite for almost every other team as well. They're just such a great jersey. And there's just something, if you were a fan back then or ever had a jersey back then, there's just something super nostalgic, I'll call it. Something super nostalgic about it. Modine says, at least the Devils can close out the season at home. Come on, man. Good night, Damien. LJ, now I see these Fanatics jerseys with the folded crests. Not even sure you could fix that or the numbers wrinkled. You're probably talking about the not the on-ice authentic one. You're probably talking about like the cheaper one. I mean, listen, if you have the money, I'll always tell people to buy the on-ice, the authentic. Now the word authentic has been jumbled, and so I think there might be a different level of jersey that's called the authentic. Back in the day, the authentic was the on-ice version. But whatever the current on-ice version is, if you could afford to do it, it's definitely better to do that. Bubba, older jerseys are so much better, heavier material and heavy-duty numbers. Absolutely. Gunner, not to look too far ahead to next year, but we have too many defensemen. Hamilton, Pesce, Siegenthaler, Dylan, Kovacevic, Hughes, Nemitz, Casey, all deserve to play, even Chalowski. Well, Chalowski, you could just get the hell out of here with Chalowski. But, yeah, we do have a bunch of extra defensemen, and I guess 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 2 extra. And looking at it right now, the guys on the outside looking in are going to be Nemitz and Casey. And so do we see one or both of them traded? I don't know. I think it's a possibility. Or does someone like a Dougie or a Siegs possibly get moved? These questions will be answered in the summer, but as it stands right now, I just don't see the path for Nemitz and or Casey. Stanley, one suggestion I have would be maybe doing some player profiles for the older favorites that the newer fans aren't familiar with, guys like McKay, etc. Yeah, I've thought about that. I think maybe you or someone else has mentioned that before. That is a pretty good idea. I'm just trying to think in my head about all the kind of ins and outs of that, but that could be a good idea. Just like a little history lesson type thing with some of the players worth knowing. Gunner, do you just keep the young kids bouncing up and down in the minors or get rid of one of the older guys? Well, there's going to be a lot of guys not brought back from this team on expiring deals. And so there will be a chance. But the reality is we don't have many guys in the minors that are worth being on the NHL roster. That's just the reality. I mean, you saw what Fitz had to do at the deadline, or not necessarily what he had to do, but what he elected to do. He went out and got 2 depth defensemen in Dumoulin and Chalowski. And then our forward depth was even worse. And then he had to go out and get Sprong and Glass because we had nothing. And so I don't know how many guys realistically, from the minors have a chance. Maybe Hallinan could be a guy. He has 1 more year on his deal. Maybe he could crack the lineup. Maybe Glass might be re-signed, and then maybe we go to free agency for a couple guys. But we don't really have many kids that are worth an NHL roster spot, unless you're obviously talking about Nemitz and Casey, which I think they both are kind of right there on the cusp. But it's like, who are you getting rid of? We just signed Kovacevic. He's not going anywhere. Dilly's a warrior. He's not going anywhere, I don't think. Luke is a huge part of the team. So then that leaves you like basically Siegenthaler and Dougie. I mean, you never know, right? I could see a world where one of them is traded to make space for one of Nemitz or Casey. But even if one of those guys is traded and there's a spot opened up, there's still not a spot for Nemitz and Casey. And so that's why I thought there was a good chance one of them was going to be traded at this year's deadline. It didn't happen. But, how long are you going to continue to have both of those guys without a roster spot for one of them? Stanley says, nothing beats an ultrafill. CCM Coho was a nice combo, sort of. An ultrafill and a pro player. LJ, my first Devils jersey was a starter. Wore the hell out of that thing. Yeah, the Devils never wore starter on the ice, but those were like fan replica jerseys they sold. I think everyone had a starter jersey at some point. Selected boy, peace out, guys. Let's go Devils. New York Rangers, all right, I'm out. Got to go watch the playoffs because, the Devils actually made it. Good luck trying to keep up next year, Rangers. What? Daniel, any feelings on wearing jerseys from another team? Not going to lie, there's some nice ones, and I like watching hockey in general. No, man, do whatever makes you happy. I personally don't do it, but I wouldn't, begrudge someone for it. I mean, listen, it's a jersey. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a fan of the team. When I was a kid, I had a ton of basketball jerseys of players I liked. I'm a little more serious about my hockey, so I wouldn't do it, but it's not the end of the world, I don't think. And no one's going to beat you up walking around New Jersey. Oh, no. Hellebuck melted down. Carson says Hellebuck has been pulled after giving up, I guess that's 6 goals on 25 shots. Wow, it's bad. Daniel, I don't actually think I'd get beat up, but I'd feel like a goof if someone tries to talk shop about a team that I just like the design. I doubt that would happen. I mean, where are you going to run into someone that's going to be so knowledgeable about, let's just say, the San Jose Sharks if you're walking around in somewhere else? Daniel, though, I travel for work, and sometimes I think maybe I'll grab one if I go to a game somewhere. I got a Ducks hoodie in Anaheim checking out one of the games. Yeah, that's logical. Daniel, I probably just added myself as the only guy wearing a Ducks hoodie in New Jersey. It's pretty funny. All right, guys, that's it. I'm a little tired now. Wow, this is another long one. Another long one, guys. Your New Jersey Devils, our beloved New Jersey Devils, back in action tomorrow. The playoffs return to the Rock. Devils in an 0-2 hole looking to make this thing a series. They are going to try to make this thing a series, and it all starts with winning Game 3. That's how it starts. Win Game 3, and that sets the table for a very, very interesting Game 4. But thank you all to those that came out. I'm super jacked for the game. I will be doing a post-game live. I'm not going to do a pregame, obviously, because I'll be at the game. And, yeah, I'll try to get some good footage. Try to get some good footage for you guys. I'll do a vlog of the whole playoff experience. I will do the vlog, and, hopefully the ride doesn't end yet. Hopefully we get a win tomorrow, and that Game 4 ends up being huge. Daniel says, you're doing the Devils work. Give me something to watch while putting out work. Thanks, dude. Yeah, anytime. LJ, let's go Devils, Game 3. Gunnar, thanks for doing this and give us fans a place to talk. Wish we had a talk radio to call in, but this is as fun. I've done call-ins before, Gunnar. Maybe I'll bring it back. I'm waiting till we win, though. I couldn't do it after the 2 losses. The negativity in the chat was too much. But maybe I will bring the callbacks when we finally win. And I did one episode where I did people videoed in, but that's too annoying. I'd rather just do the call-in, if I'm being honest. The whole video thing is a lot. I'd rather just do the call-in. like old school radio, like talk radio. But it's happened before, Gunner. I will bring it back. LJ said, smash the like on the way out. Obviously, hit the thumbs up. Thanks. I'm not good at that. I always forget. Hit the thumbs up. I have no idea where we're at with that. Probably not good, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Carson, oh my God, watch St. Louis's fourth goal. Hella buck. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch the NHL Network and go on the dive on the internets here to see all the replays. Man, I can't believe Brady and the Sens are just gonna get crushed like that. It's disappointing. Daniel, I appreciate that you respond to the chat. Makes this way better. I feel a part of something. No, I appreciate that. I mean, I do know a lot of people don't kind of. My goal was to make a real community. I think we're on our way. We're definitely on our way. We have a good amount of regulars. We're always getting new people. Some people come in periodically. But, yeah, that was my goal of this whole thing, to kind of make a community for Devils fans to talk shop and talk shit. So, place to hang out. Going to bring the call-in. Doug says the call-in would be better. Yeah, I'm going to bring the call-in back. Gunnar says the fan never puts through my Devils calls. I'm shocking. Shocking. Are you shocked? Does the fan talk about hockey at all outside of Boomer talking about the Rangers? Jay Snow said not moving Siegs. He's only making 3 points. That's what I'm saying. The injuries kind of worry me, but he does provide a good value. So it seems like Dougie, if anything, is the most likely. Later, Carson. Jay Snow Nemitz going to his last year of his entry level. Yeah. It's time to figure out what you're doing with that young man. Not even worth trying. What are the odds we actually have Siegs on the ice tomorrow anywhere and Luke coming back? It's the playoffs, guys. It's the playoffs, and everything you're going to get misinformation, and it's all just gamesmanship. So we're never going to know till right before the game, in my opinion. For people looking for concrete answers like ahead of time, you're just not going to get it. I hope you get to interview the NJ Devil guy in the suit with his face in the shadows and a voice changer. And then Daniel said, wait, are you in the mascot outfit? That would make sense. Joseph, Siegs is a pretty big guy. I'm not worried about being injury prone. I mean, he's been hurt the last 2 years. What do you mean? He got hurt last year and he's hurt this year. TSS prediction, Devils win 4-2. My prediction for tomorrow is 3-1. I'm going with a 3-1 New Jersey Devils win, but I will be ecstatic with a win any way it comes. I'm not picky. Just win. Just win, baby, win. All right, that's it, guys. We need a win tomorrow so badly. Oh yeah, the game's 8:00, and I'm going to the game, so the post game is going to be late, but it's a Friday night. It's a freaky Friday. Yeah. Wow. I'm jacked up. It's been 2 years since I was at a playoff game. I'm going to be in my shorts, loving it. For as long as this ride lasts, I will say if they don't win tomorrow, it would be hard for me to drag myself to game 4. I'm not going to lie. I might not be able to do it. They got to win tomorrow to get me back to game 4. I don't think I could go watch a potential closeout game on our home ice. All the energy would be zapped from me. But really, it would just be – the crowd would be so bad, too. There'd be so many empty seats. Yeah, there's a lot riding on tomorrow. There is a whole lot riding on tomorrow. Someone asked me this last time. I don't really have one. All right, guys, that's it. The Devils back in action at the Rock tomorrow. This is everything. Tomorrow is everything. Will you go out with a fight, or are you going to go out with a whimper and potentially get swept or be out in 5? Tomorrow we're going to have a lot of answers. In Marky, we trust. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.